decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Find what you love and love what you find at Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, find what you love only at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The White House in California continued their standoff over the deployment of military troops in the wake of protests there over immigration raids. Linda Kenyon has the latest from the White House.
President Trump has sent thousands of National Guard troops and 700 active duty Marines, saying it had to be done.
If we didn't get involved right now, Los Angeles would be burning.
Speaking in the Oval Office while unveiling new plans to quell wildfires, the president added the protests in L.A. were akin to a different kind of wildfire.
Big problems were ensuing.
California's governor and the mayor of Los Angeles said the protests were under control, and the president's actions not only exceeded his authority but inflamed the situation. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
CBS's Scott McFarland reports from Washington. There are others who feel California is being unfairly targeted.
The visible presence of the deployment of the National Guard in Los Angeles is raising criticisms from survivors and victims of the U.S. Capitol siege in 2021. Critics say the National Guard was delayed that day. The president was slow to order them, which contributed to the 100-plus police injuries and millions of dollars of damage at the Capitol.
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was on Capitol Hill today answering questions from lawmakers who demanded more details about the troop deployments. Representative Rosa DeLauro's criticism was over much more than that.
Your tenure as secretary has been marked by endless chaos. Your first day in office, the inspector general, whose job is to investigate waste, fraud, and abuse, was fired. Weeks later, you dismissed the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and 5 other admirals and generals.
He was called to testify about the budget, but many lawmakers complain they haven't yet gotten details about the proposed defense budget, which President Trump has said would total $1 trillion. New Jersey is holding its gubernatorial primaries today. They may be a referendum on Trump's first few months in office. Correspondent Michael Wallace has that.
6 Democrats and 5 Republicans are running to replace Democratic Governor Phil Murphy. President Trump has endorsed Republican Jack Ciattarelli and joined him in a recent tele-rally.
It's being watched actually all over the world because New Jersey's ready to pop out of that blue horror show.
Dr. Matthew Hall, chairman of the Political Science Department at Seton Hall University, is not surprised Trump is looming large in the race.
We're so polarized right now that you have groups of people who think that Donald Trump walks on water and groups of people who want to drown him in that water.
Michael Wallace, CBS News, West Milford, New Jersey.
On Wall Street today, investors have been looking for any sign the U.S.-China trade talks are going well or not. The Dow currently up 100 points. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance. Progressive can protect your home, auto, boat, motorcycle, ATV, RV, and more. In short, a lot of things. Bundle today at Progressive.com.
2 people have died, apparently, after being run over by a bus. We have a reporter live on the scene with an update. But first, from the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk, it is really a sign of how bad the morning commute was that we're celebrating a return of speed limit drives now at noon, we are really sitting pretty at this point. We've got some very typical, very light slowing I-5 northbound from Boeing Field into downtown Seattle, and that was causing some issues getting onto I-5 from the West Seattle Bridge. It looks like that has mostly cleared up, but still a little bit dragging. Federal Way to Seattle was our worst issue this morning, 32-minute drive at this point. Linwood to Seattle, 34 minutes. That's running still a few minutes behind on I-5, it looks like. And Renton to Bellevue, 26 minutes. Bellevue to Seattle, 17 minutes. This traffic report brought to you by the Office of the Insurance Commissioner of Washington State. Stop Medicare fraud by reporting anything suspicious to the Washington State Health Insurance Benefits Advisors. Call 800-562-6900.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Jillian Raftery. 2 people were killed this morning on First Hill after they were hit by a transport bus. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch is there and joins us live. James, what can you tell us at this point?
Jillian, right now, SPD says this looks like a tragic accident that left 2 elderly women dead. 911 calls started coming in just before 10:30, reporting someone had been hit by a bus. It happened in the parking lot of the Hilltop House retirement community near the corner of Broadway and Alder, and one of their buses was involved. Here's SPD Detective Brian Pritchard.
Officers arrived and found a van had struck a smoke shack, a designated smoke area, with 2 elderly females in it. And the 2 females were actually pronounced. As it stands right now, we believe it's just a tragic accident.
The driver is still on the scene and reported a possible mechanical failure. He will be checked out by drug recognition experts, but right now, again, it seems to be a really tragic accident. Live in Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Thank you so much, James. A crash shut down part of Highway 7 near Spanaway this morning. Troopers say a man on a motorized scooter hit a shopping cart left on the shoulder. That's according to the State Patrol Trooper John Datillo. It happened just after 10 o'clock in the morning near 197th Court East. First responders rushed in, but the man didn't make it. Search teams could be hot on the trail of Travis Decker, the father at the center of the massive manhunt near Leavenworth. Dozens of deputies and federal agents have converged on the Ingalls Creek area. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin was there.
We're all a little anxious. In these kind of situations, like, these guys are highly trained. But if we're feeling the anxiety, these guys probably are too.
Decker is suspected of killing his 3 daughters. They were found in his truck at an abandoned campsite. Seattle's mayor wants more power to shut down problem nightclubs. The Center Square Report's Bruce Harrell is proposing changes to the city's nuisance law. It would now include liquor violations and off-property disturbances. That means clubs could be flagged even if the trouble happens just outside. The move follows a spike in nightlife-linked shootings across the city. The proposal heads to the Public Safety Committee later this month. As you pack for pop-in circumstances, Seattle Public Schools is also asking you to pack your patience for safety's sake. For all high school graduation ceremonies at Memorial High Stadium, SPS security specialists will examine bags, backpacks, purses, and packages. This applies to students, staff, and spectators. Flowers and signs are fine, but balloons, poppets, and confetti devices not allowed. Doors will open 1 hour before each 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. ceremony. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. It's going to be a beautiful day today, mostly sunny, 81 degrees with a cooling trend later this week that will put us at 75 degrees tomorrow, Tuesday, with overnight lows in the mid-50s all week, 68 by Wednesday, 68 by Thursday. Just a beautiful week ahead of us and a little break from those scorching temperatures. It's 70 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome to the show. Happy Tuesday to you all. I'm Jake Skorheim, sitting alongside Spike O'Neill.
Hey, brother.
Spike, how you doing today?
I'm fabulous.
You're looking a little, are you a little glum?
Oh,
you're fabulous.
Fabulous. I'm faking it till I make it.
Oh, good.
I'm
Good
always
for
looking
you.
at the bright side of life.
Good for you.
I'm a transmission fluid half full kind of guy.
Oh, that's nice.
How's that?
You need that today.
I do need that today.
Because you're having some car troubles. Is that okay that I tell people that?
Yeah, of course it is. You know, we live our lives. We live our lives for the betterment and enjoyment of this city.
Yeah. Yeah, all cities.
That's what we do.
All cities.
You know, it's true. All cities. Coast to coast.
Coast to coast.
My cousins on the East Coast are hearing about my car trouble for the first time just now.
This
As
happened.
is my wife.
This happened on. Oh, that sucks.
I know.
This happened on your way in.
Yeah, but you know what? It's it did. Mercifully, it happened within a block from work.
That's nice.
It is.
You were able to actually, because
I
we're
was
on like a
actually-
hill,
yeah.
you were able to coast into the
right
parking lot.
into the spot it will be towed from. Yeah.
Sweet.
I know.
See, that's a silver lining.
It is, because
that's lucky.
it could have happened on I-5. I could have been blocking traffic. I could have been your problem, Seattle.
Which I guess was bad this morning, so that you could have been the reason,
I could
but
have
you
been.
weren't.
I wasn't. And I could have been stranded on the side of the road. Laura said, at least you're not a car on the side of the road with no shoulder and your safety's at risk.
Yeah. No,
and you're
good.
blocking traffic and I can't get to work.
You're here.
I'm here.
That's
I'm
all
with
that
you
matters.
nice people.
Yeah.
That's it. It's everything.
I think also once it's on work property, technically they pay for everything. I think that's one of the
I need to
perks.
laugh. Thanks. That was really sweet of you.
Yeah.
I needed comedy.
So we'll see what
Can
happens.
I tell you? Speaking of comedy,
Yeah.
I gotta give props, and I don't know her name. I don't know her name.
Does she work with us?
Nope.
Because that happens sometimes with you.
They're all Elijah to me. Everybody I don't know just becomes Elijah. It's my biblical training.
Did we tell people that story?
We did. I think we did. Yeah.
Gosh, that
yeah.
was so funny.
The nicest man in the building.
Yeah.
And I've known him for a couple years.
You butchered his name, which happens.
Repeatedly. Anyway,
good dude.
I'm on the phone with the good folks at AAA, and this is not a paid endorsement, but I've been a member for 30 years.
Sure.
And the lady who's taking my information, scheduling the tow truck pickup, I have to take my disabled now vehicle to the auto shop near my home. She says, so I give her all the information about location here at KIRO, the address of the shop up in Edmonds. She goes, I'm going to read this back to you now, and it's going to sound like a computer-generated voice. And this lady kicked to, your car will be picked up at 18220 East Lake Avenue, East and Totu, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, okay, wow, that's really nice that she said to me. It's, and then it stops. She goes, and people get really freaked out when I do that. And I'm like, that was you?
That was a human?
That was a human. And she started laughing. Goes, yeah.
Why does she make it into a robot voice?
Because she's trying to make it fun. She was trying to enter, and I'm like, she goes, I can drop in and out of the voice and then back into the human voice, then go back to the computer voice, and people don't believe it's me. And I just started giggling. I'm like, well, I really needed that laugh. Thank you so much.
She's like, here's the twist. You've been talking to a computer this whole time.
I'm like, what a weird little skill to develop when you are a phone reception, a call center receptionist interacting with humans at a pretty stressful moment of their lives.
She's figured out a way to take some of the pressure off.
Yeah, that's her intention.
That's really nice.
Unless you're afraid of robots like I am.
Yeah.
And the computer menace.
You're petrified.
She has no idea. She just
AI
threw
and
gas
Terminator.
on the fire. But it was really sweet of her to.
It's funny. I wonder if she has other voices. Like with you, it was the AI or the computer voice, and the other voice. Like maybe she does Muppets and stuff. Good for her. That's great.
She busted a Marlena Dietrich. Your car will be picked up at 11 o'clock this morning between 11 and 1:30.
I imagine at a certain point, people are just like, "Can you just get my car towed first?" Like you're working out your voices on me. Can you please get your car towed
on your time? Okay.
I was in, this is just a quick aside, but I was in Los Angeles probably, 2 years ago. It was for a work thing. And I'm eating lunch at a restaurant, middle of the day, totally dead. Nobody was there.
Okay.
And the server, it was I think it was a P.F. Chang's. And the server comes out and she's speaking in her Australian accent. I'm like, oh, okay. She must have come here from Australia to realize the Hollywood dream.
Chasing her dream. You bet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then she comes back the next time, and she's got an English accent. Then she comes back the next time, and she has an Irish accent. And I realize as I'm eating that she's
workshopping.
She's workshopping her different things.
Brilliant.
And I had comped like an idiot, or maybe actually made her day. I don't know, but like as a nice thing, I was like, oh, you here from Australia? And she totally played it up. She lied to me.
Yeah.
Told me she was.
Stayed
I'm here
in
from
character.
Australia.
Didn't break character.
Yeah, she's method. You're right. She's method.
It's genius.
Maybe it's the same lady. Maybe she also moonlights as a AAA person. And she's just trying out different things.
Let me tell you about our specials.
Our specials today are yummy.
Yeah, so if I had
Actually, that sounds like a person with a hole in their throat. What is that thing they get with the smokers?
Throat cancer, yeah.
God, I hate those commercials.
Tracheotomy is what they get or something like that, right?
There's a few of those. We stream everything. We actually don't have cable. We stream everything. But a few of those streamer ads have popped up on shows that I watch with my kids, and every time I go, "Kids, look away!"
It's the people don't smoke. This could happen to you.
It's
people.
terrifying.
Yeah. That's what it is. The cautionary tale.
I was totally fine until I was 40, and then and then they blow smoke out of their throat, and my kids can't sleep for a week.
Can I tell you? I was raised across the street from my very best friend growing up. My very best friend. His dad had a tracheotomy, and Dad always been like this his entire life.
That's horrifying.
His entire life, and the guy, but he whistled
out of his throat.
No. He had like one of those. That's how he called the kids home for dinner. If we'd be out playing ball at the park, a block and a half away, and we was swinging the bat, catch shacking fly balls, all of a sudden you hear those, and my buddy Gene Glover would just drop everything and run
because he knows how hard that was for his dad.
No,
to do?
He knows the old man who drank a case of Miller beer a day. Every day.
So he was a heavy drinker and smoker.
Heavy drinker and smoker. Cigars. He had a cigar butt about 1.5 inches long, I think permanently attached to his lip. He had white hair and this yellow spot right above his left eye where the smoke from his cigar had stained his hair.
Yeah, you see that on mustaches on old dudes too.
Over the years. And oh man, Ed Glover. What a guy.
I don't get it. How did he whistle? You think that the whistle...
the whistle was his mouth whistled.
Oh, okay.
But that's
I thought you were saying he just like shoved a whistle in there.
No. He literally would blow smoke rings. He would tap like the small of his throat and blow smoke rings out of his...
He still smoked even after tracheotomy?
He not right now. The entire time I knew him. Had no taste buds.
They never said smoking killed anyone.
This was Ed Glover.
Drove
us to school every morning. Drove us to school every morning in his...
Smoking on the way?
Oh, yeah. In his Country Squire. 8 kids in a Country Squire wagon.
Not a one of them in a seatbelt.
Not a one of them in a seatbelt. And just... he smoked the whole way.
The windows up.
Windows up. Winter. Icy cold outside. Can of Miller in one hand. Wheel in the other.
A can of Miller?
I swear to you. On a stack of Bibles.
And your parents probably thought he was a great chauffeur. They're like,
to school.
What an angel for
beauty,
driving you
right?
guys. Yeah.
Oh, because he worked nights as a janitor at the Sears stores in Baltimore. He would clean floors all night, get home after drinking beers on the job all night long.
Some good characters in Baltimore.
Oh my God,
Ed Glover.
Ed Glover. Yep.
Glover.
Yep, and his wife, Miss Loretta, is still 98 years old now, still around.
She's still with us?
Still with us, yep.
Amazing. She didn't smoke, I bet.
No. She was a sweetheart, saint, yeah.
Kind of takes the wind out of the second-hand argument, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, it does.
Maybe
You're right.
A little bit. Yeah. 98 years old,
she
slept
survived.
next to that whistling
He had no
guy
taste
for
buds.
years.
So
he had no taste buds?
No, because the cigars of the cancer.
Did he make a bunch of jokes about her cooking all the time?
No, he cooked.
Thank God I don't have taste buds.
He cooked because she worked and he was home all day. He worked nights and was home all day. So he cooked. And you could tell if you ate dinner at Gene's house, it was always some days when he was feeling his oats, dinner would be like peppered and spiced beyond belief.
So he could taste it?
He couldn't taste it, but the rest of the family, you sit down to dinner at Gene's house, take a forkful, and all of a sudden, you're reaching.
How does that taste, young man?
He's over there.
Because he's just chomping on cigars.
Yeah, he didn't care.
That's all he ate
couldn't
for
taste
dinner.
it.
That's wild.
Anyway, we're out of time. That's
Ed
your day.
Glover.
Ed Glover. Mr. Ed.
God bless you, Ed.
God love you. Rest in peace, my
Rest
friend.
in peace. All right. We have a lot to get to. It's not just tracheotomies.
We're not out of time. And my busted car. What did you do with your day?
All right, what are we going to talk about? We have limited time in our opening segment here. Do you want to talk about how Seattle is the nation's? This is crazy to me. I can't even believe this. You didn't find this to be that wild. But I think it's the biggest non-story of the year. Seattle is the nation's most male-skewed major city. There's more men in Seattle. They say in the article here, they said the most masculine city, but I absolutely disagree with that.
Have you seen the men in this town?
Exactly.
Please.
A lot of men capris in this town.
Yeah. Seriously.
But technically, biologically, they say there's more males in Seattle than any other major city in the United States. We edged out Austin, Texas.
Just barely.
Barely. We have 107.3 males per 100 females.
Right.
Austin, Texas has 107.2, but I guess we got like an extra guy who's visiting here or something. San Francisco is the third most male city, which kind of makes sense to me. Anchorage is the 4th at 104.8. The list goes on and on, but we're the top of the list.
In the top 10 cities, the 10th is Tampa with 102 guys per, almost 103 guys. We'll call it 3. You round up to the nearest guy.
Yeah.
103 for every 100 women.
But you didn't find this very extraordinary. You thought it's kind of a non-story.
I think, so it must be so hard to meet a guy or meet a woman because there's so many more guys. It's 53 to 46% with a fraction involved, right?
Well, I mean, it's
not like it's 80-20.
No,
that's when it's hard to meet a lady.
That's true.
When there's 4 guys for every girl. That's when it's here come the bride's time.
Well,
right?
In Baltimore, they have more women than men. They have 100 women for every 4 men. I'm sorry, no, 82.
No,
I'm sorry. They have 5 women for every 4 men in Baltimore.
That's 8. It's like 82 in Baltimore. It's like the worst female to male city.
And the older you get, Seattle has a lot of young men. You think this is tech?
I think because just 10 years ago we had more females than men in Seattle. We had like a 50.3 or something like that percentage of females to male.
Yeah.
In Seattle just 10 years ago.
Just 10 years ago.
And you look at the boom between Amazon and Microsoft and Facebook and Google and all the tech.
So you think it's all tech?
I think it's tech bros.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's all these tech bros moving to town.
Laura, have you noticed this? Are you noticing there's just more women more men out there than women?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
It's great. It's like you're in the catbird seat. This is fantastic for you.
Not necessarily. How many men doesn't equate to how many dateable men?
Thank you.
So how many dateable men would you say? There's like 2
so we
for
gotta
every
take
100
out like
females?
we gotta take out like a
couple.
third for socks and sandals. We gotta take out another third for Peter Pan syndrome.
What socks and sandals? That's just exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that takes you out of the dating pool in Laura's world. And you're not wrong about that. I think any guy on a wheel, one of those motorized wheels,
he's not.
Take him out of the mix. That's not
he's
one
not
of the,
cuddling up to a lady. Anytime.
That's not one of the
big
107.
helmet and the glasses.
Right? I took a ferry last week. I got on the motorcycle, took a ferry over the peninsula last weekend. And when you get on the ferry, you first on, first off are walkers and bikers, right? Bicyclists.
Yeah.
The cavalcade of what rolls off the ferry before the cars leave.
Really?
Scooters.
Like mopeds?
No. There are bicycles. There are electric bicycles. There are little iterations of motorcycle. The tiny ones with the 2 headlights on the front.
Sure.
Few of those. But like a dozen guys on electric scooters.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guys on the wheel. There were 3 guys.
Wheels,
3 guys on the one wheel with this foot on each side of it. Those guys are rolling off the ferry before the cars get off.
I was going to say, those guys are probably before even bicyclists,
They go off with the walkers.
Yeah.
A guy on a motorized skateboard getting off the ferry, rolling up the ramp.
Do you remember when you used to go to the Sonics games? Remember when Squatch would run around on the motorized skateboard? I always thought that was very cool.
It's cool.
I can't imagine it in real life.
Doesn't make you a man.
No.
Kind of takes you out of the equation is what I'm saying. These guys are, on a scooter.
The wheels,
commuting on a scooter. The
wheels don't make sense to me.
It's.
I mean, you're already sending a message that there's only room for one person in your life.
That's right.
You can't take a date on a wheel.
Right? Get on my shoulders.
Happening. I guess there's some version where maybe you're holding her in kind of a classic you're rescuing her from a burning building.
Classic piggyback. I think
there's a piggyback version, but I think that's going to mess with the weight.
That way she can carry the to-go food. You guys can go back to your studio apartment or your mom's basement.
I don't think it's ever been a problem that a guy on a wheel has needed to find room for a second person.
I don't think it is either.
Every time I see him, they have long hair. Every single guy on a wheel that I've ever seen has long hair.
Or a man bun. Has it up because he's for safety.
Even a man bun seems a little bit cooler to me. These guys just have long hair and it hangs down.
Yeah.
And they have really dark glasses. I don't even know where they get glasses that dark. And they ride around with backpacks. There's a guy up near me. He has a backpack that's hooked up somehow. I don't know how he does this, but it's hooked up to his wheel. So anytime he leans back, I don't know how those things break.
Yeah,
I assume there's some centrifugal force.
Centrifugal force, yeah. There's a level inside.
Anytime he leans back to brake, the light on his backpack turns on, the brake light.
That's not a
5% of me that thinks that's actually kind of cool.
It's ingenious. It's safe. It's not manly.
Think of this. This is crazy. Okay. He's got gloves with
reflecting tape.
Tony Stark lights on them.
Oh, with lights?
The light.
Yeah,
Tony
the
Stark.
light pad,
Tony Stark, boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
shoots things. But this guy has headlights.
Yeah, but
so he's riding around on a wheel and he's going like that.
Yeah, but they're the kind you stick to the inside of your closet. They sell them for nine of them for $19.95. But if you order now, they'll double.
Yeah,
they'll
but
double
you know
the order.
what?
All you can do is pay additional shipping.
But he's riding around at 30 miles an hour on the sidewalk, and he's just he's shining his lights at people,
feeling like Iron Man. Looking like you live in your mom's basement.
He does
I'm
feel
just saying.
like you can tell. He feels very cool.
Feels very Iron Man.
Yeah, he feels very cool.
I have never ridden one of those wheels. They seem,
I'd like to try
they
one.
seem pretty cool. Well, but when
we
I
have
was
like a dealer who can reach out to us, and can you guys bring one for Spike and I to try?
just to try around, tour around the office.
Yeah,
take out a few receptionists.
I'd actually like to see you try
Ezekiel. I'd be great at it.
You think so?
I was a skateboarder my entire youth.
Oh, you have good balance.
I lived on a skateboard from 13 to 17.
I bet you do well.
Yeah, but I grew up.
You're not a child.
I'm not a child anymore. I'm not going to leave the ferry on a wheel. And God love you guys. You're keeping a car. You're saving the planet. You're a big green monster.
I don't
love
think
you.
so. I don't think they're saving the planet.
No, they're not burning gas.
Well, how did you mine all the materials out of China that went into making the wheel?
Don't you bring facts and logic into this, my friend. I'm
Where
trying
do you
to make
think
a point.
that battery comes from?
Fairies brought it.
Magical climate fairies. I think you're right. You might be right about that. You might be right. Anyway, there's more men in Seattle. They say it's the most masculine
That's
city,
what you
but
wanna
that's
call
debatable.
them.
Yeah. We got a lot more coming up. Macklemore's house got broken into. That's a
What?
bummer. We can talk a little bit about that.
What is it with celebrity homes?
I don't know. They got stuff.
That's it. That's what it is.
All his stuff's from the thrift store, though. That's a dumb joke.
Popping tags, popping locks.
We got a lot more stuff. Join us on the YouTube page. Go to YouTube. Look up KIRO News Radio. You're going to find the Jake and Spike live page, which is fun. You can also watch us live on bynorthwest.com. You can text us at 888-973-5476. We'll just be hanging out during the break. So join us. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino.
The first place you turn to for breaking news.
Protest outside City Hall.
KIRO News Radio.
James Lynch begins our team coverage live at City Hall.
Now, we are told by SPD that 4 people have been arrested for assault. For more on the counter protesters, we go to Scott Carney.
See a group of another 10 officers come down the steps.
Closures now extended from Washington closer to the stadiums.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and download the KIRO News Radio app to listen anytime.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic is your best plan for long-term well-being and personalized health care. Dr. Mixon, let me ask you a question. How long have some of your patients been working with you?
We've got patients now that have been with us for over 20 years that are in their 90s who came to us in their 60s. The grandparents now in their 90s are living independently. They're not on walkers. They're not on canes. They're not headed for nursing homes.
I meet people and they ask about, wow, you're in great shape. You have 12% body fat and stuff. What's the secret? I said, it's not a secret. Longevity Medical Clinic has been there for 25 years. There is no secret to the fact that if you make those small changes, you avoid the big, bad, horrible stuff that most of us just think, well, this is what's supposed to happen to me.
And if you're heading downhill and you don't change your direction, you're going to continue going downhill. And what we do at Longevity is we redirect you and we take you back up the hill.
So get your free health analysis. Go to longevitymedicalclinic.com. That's longevitymedicalclinic.com.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Jim Singletary here, Chief Roof Nerd at RoofSmart, where we're not afraid to tell you no. Looking for a roofing company that'll do cheap, fast work and just cover up the problem? No, that's not us. Want a quick quote without a real inspection? Nope. Just want a price without knowing your options? Not happening. Look, we don't want to tell you no, but if saying yes means cut corners, bad results, or wasted money, we won't do it. Period. And here's the deal. Seattle gets 150 rainy days a year. That's not wait and see weather, it's call RoofSmart now weather. We say no to leaky roofs, sloppy work, and bad estimates, and yes to thorough inspections, accurate quotes, and top quality work that actually lasts. So if you want an honest roofer who's not afraid to say no to bad work, Call RoofSmart today at 206-487-4877 or visit GetRoofSmart.com. That's 206-487-4877 or GetRoofSmart.com.
Hello, Seattle. It's your friendly neighbor, the T-Mobile Park roof. From up here, I can see it all. Folks pouring in from the street, the sun setting over the sound, the roar of the crowd as Luis Castillo pumps his fist, and the joy of the J-Rod squad as Julio snares a deep fly ball at the wall.
He reaches up with a leap and he makes the catch!
And all the faces smiling with every perfectly grilled hot dog and swirl of soft serve. When the final out's made, I'll be right up here, lighting the W and soaking it all in. Mariners baseball. Try it inside.
Father's Day weekend is officially on deck, and T-Mobile Park is the perfect place to celebrate. Bring Dad out to a ball game as the Mariners take on the Guardians Friday through Sunday. And on Father's Day, the first 10,000 dads 21 plus will score a pair of socks thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resort. Get your tickets now at mariners.com.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better. Live stronger. Start now.
If you have aging parents, you've probably worried about their bathroom. That old tub? It's a slip and a disaster waiting to happen. Hi, this is Ursula Reutin. With Bathfitter, you can convert it into a walk-in shower, custom fit, installed in just one day, and backed by a lifetime warranty. No mess, no demo, just a safer, better bathroom. Call Bathfitter today or visit bathfitternw.com to schedule your free consultation. And right now, take advantage of 0% interest for 24 months.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Jillian Raftery. The Trump administration said it will continue its program of raids and deportations despite the protests. Nicole Skanga is with CBS News.
Immigration and Customs Enforcement has set a goal of arresting 3,000 illegal migrants a day, and they fell short of that just yesterday. ICE recorded more than 1,200 arrests nationwide.
The federal military presence is known in Los Angeles as Marines now join National Guard troops sent there by President Trump.
If we didn't get involved, right now, Los Angeles would be burning.
The president said he wouldn't rule out taking more action, including invoking the Insurrection Act. President Trump's original travel ban faced protests and caused chaos at airports, but the reaction from the public this time around is muted. CBS News correspondent Allison Keyes.
Ronald Bastian is a Haitian-born U.S. citizen who owns a business in North Miami and says this nation needs tough leaders.
The ban is good one way because the way we have all those gangs in Haiti.
But at a protest, immigration advocates like Linda Sarsour say the ban unfairly targets nations in Africa and the Middle East.
This is impacting and will impact families across this country who will be separated from their loved ones.
Allison Keyes, CBS News.
Here in Washington, federal and local resources have poured into the search for Travis Decker. He's the father suspected of killing his 3 young daughters after a mandated visit. The search by air and land centers on a rocky rural area of Leavenworth, south of Leavenworth near Blewett Pass. People with homes there are asked to stay inside and lock their doors. A Seattle woman says her pain after surgery wasn't just from healing. It was from neglect. KIRO News Radio's Amanda Factor explains.
Danielle Salazar is suing Virginia Mason Franciscan Health. She says the hospital told her a nurse may have stolen her pain meds. That was during her recovery from a hysterectomy in 2023. The Seattle Times reports she filed a class action lawsuit Monday in King County. She says the hospital failed to properly supervise staff and prevent drug theft. She's worried she may have been exposed to infectious diseases. Amanda Factor, KIRO News Radio.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, updating you on your drive. Only a few snags to a really good afternoon commute. Early afternoon, let's say. On 405 southbound at I-5 interchange, there's a disabled vehicle partially blocking the HOV lane, but it's not doing too much damage right now. It's 23 minutes from Bothell to Bellevue. We've had some snags on 405 north and south throughout the afternoon. Bellevue to Renton right now is 27 minutes, and that's just volume. That's just volume at this point. Renton to Bellevue is 25 minutes. On I-5 northbound just south of Seneca Street in downtown Seattle, a disabled vehicle is blocking the left lane, but it's not costing you too much time. Bellevue to Seattle, 18 minutes on our lake bridges. Tacoma to Olympia, that's a speed limit drive at 40 minutes. Traffic brought to you by Stop Medicare Fraud. The insurance commissioner Stop Medicare fraud by reporting anything suspicious to the Washington State Health Insurance Benefits Advisors. Call 800-562-6900. Weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are dry today, 81 degrees, mostly sunny, absolutely gorgeous. Cooling trend with increasing clouds to mostly cloudy weather by Wednesday. Highs in the mid-70s going down to about the high 60s with overnight lows in the mid-50s. It's 70 degrees in downtown Seattle right now. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, welcome back to the show. The search, the manhunt search, is ramping up for this guy, Travis Decker, who is wanted for a triple murder of his kids. It's the worst story in the world. And now it's shifted into the manhunt phase, where I originally thought, I'll be completely honest with you, when I first heard of this horrible, horrible thing, there's only been like 2 times, I think, in my experience working in the news where I heard a story that had such a disastrous, horrible ending like this. This was one of them. And then where I literally, when somebody told me what happened, I just couldn't believe my ears.
It's a heartbreaking story. It hits personally because you're a parent.
Well, it was this one. Yeah. And it was this one, and it was the Powell kids. You remember the Powell kids?
Yeah, I do. I remember it. Horrible, horrible, heartbreaking story.
When I heard about what happened with the Powell boys, Susan Powell is a woman who, she disappeared. They couldn't find her. They didn't know what happened. The husband was a suspect, and then there was this legal dispute with the kids, and he had visitation and all these different things. I don't even want to talk about it because it was so depressing. But at the time, when the end came, and he ended up ending like similar to this guy, if this guy was the guilty party here, Josh Powell ended up ending his kids' lives in the worst way possible. Right. Somebody told me, I was walking down the stairs right out here outside the newsroom, down towards my office at the time, and somebody was like, "Hey, did you hear what happened?" And I said, "No," and it stopped me in my tracks. I was like, "Whoa," because we'd been following that story for months. There was this huge investigation, multi-state, FBI was involved, all these different people, and then you have this story with this Travis Decker guy, and now it's shifting into this thing where now they're looking for. I originally thought his body was going to be found. That's what I thought was going to happen. Yeah. I thought his body was going to be found. His daughters were found at a campsite. I thought he was going to be found nearby, having ended his own life, but that's not the case, at least as far as we know. And now they're looking for him in Chelan County Sheriff's Office. Had to put out this note for people online just to be aware of the
community
locals
alert.
there.
Yeah.
Community alert.
For public safety reasons.
They said community alert area of Ingalls Creek and Valley High. Law enforcement is searching for suspect Travis Decker in the area of Ingalls Creek and Valley High as he is believed to potentially be in this area. Please secure your homes and vehicles, stay alert, and report any suspicious activity to 911. Residents and visitors will see a visible increase in law enforcement presence tonight. As a precaution, your safety remains top priority. If you see something, say something. I'm watching video now of all these like guys with very serious looking outdoor hunting gear who are going to try to find this guy in the woods. And it feels like the scene of some sort of a horrible movie. This guy apparently has survival abilities.
This guy trained as an Army Ranger. He has has a history of spending months at a time, according to his father, who was interviewed by law enforcement, months off the grid at a time. He knows how to hide. He knows how to move. He knows how to survive. These are skills he learned as a military personnel.
You got to think too about. Obviously, his mindset is, completely off the reservation.
So he's broken.
If he's doing
he's
these
broken.
things.
Yeah.
But the mindset of somebody who would go and want to be away for months, like before any of this happened,
right?
Who just wants to go and get off the grid? Like, who knows what's going on with that guy?
I hear you.
Now these law enforcement agencies and these amazing law enforcement officers who are like putting their lives on the line. This guy sounds like he has some abilities.
Yeah, he does.
And they're going to have to be really careful.
Yeah, they're not dealing with a knucklehead. Well, I don't mean that. That was irreverent and it wasn't appropriate. They're dealing with a mentally unstable individual, obviously, given the crimes he's alleged to have committed.
Sure.
But a man with a set of skills that can put the people searching for him, the law enforcement community, and they could be at risk as well. Their safety's clearly at risk.
Yeah,
taking on this task of trying to find this guy.
The Josh Powell story, I don't believe he had any specific skills that would have made him extra, other than
this is a very, very
willingness and determination to bad things, but that would have made him extra dangerous to law enforcement personnel.
Exactly.
But this guy, I mean, you see pictures of him.
And that's dangerous to the community as well.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, how scary was that? If you're out in Chelan County and you
we just
out in the middle of nowhere?
And we just don't know what to expect moving forward. First, it was, we expected, I'm with you. I expected that he snapped. He took the lives of his children. They took his own life.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, no, he researched how to get into Canada, how to transition to be a Canadian working in Canada. He's like, okay, he's clearly on the run. He's going to flee the country. But now he's been spotted. There were like trail cams spotting, which is why they put this additional community alert out to the area.
I saw that on X. I saw a map of the area where he was possibly spotted on a trail cam. Can you imagine being that person? Because you get those notifications. I mean, have you ever used trail cams? You can you can check them after the fact.
I haven't used them, but I'm very aware of how they notify the owners and
think
the people
about that.
Yeah.
Somebody you see like
holy cow.
I mean, we all have Ring cams, so we all know functionally know how they
when
work.
the Amazon guy drops a box on my porch, but when you see somebody like this, somebody who's wanted, who's publicly,
and you go,
there's a national alert on this clown.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody knows who this guy is and what he looks like. His tattoos have been identified. Everything about this guy is very, very public for public safety reasons.
He's got a very specific look to him. I wonder if he's changed his look. Like, how hard is he trying to evade, or is he just out there in the woods?
That's a great question. I mean, it's funny. You see the photos of him that were, as the story broke and as this horrific news was made public, and we found out the horrific consequences that befell these little girls. You're seeing these photos of him, and he's unkempt, he's disheveled, he looks a little crazy. Then I see photos of him that he's, when he was in shape, from naked from the waist up, tattoos, fully, he's ripped.
Was he in the Marines? Is that what he was in?
Army Ranger. But, so this guy he can look a lot of different ways, to your point. Has he, I don't know, what's he doing? He's broken.
Washington Governor Bob Ferguson announced he's using emergency funding to also deploy Washington National Guard. He announced that on Friday. So he's going to be able to get the National Guard out there and help in the search for this. But yeah, the Chelan County Sheriff's Office has said if you guys, be safe wherever you're at.
Be aware. Yep. Lock your doors.
Because who knows at this point what this guy's willing to do. Obviously, it sounds like he's willing to do anything. But they're going to have a helicopter. It reminds me of, what was that movie? Was it Rambo?
Rambo was very similar, where they went up in the woods.
He was up
Brian
in the
Dennehy.
Right? Brian Dennehy.
And it was based
Sylvester Stallone.
Was it Oregon, Washington, right?
I think he was in the Northwest. Yeah. Obviously, it's a very different situation.
Clearly. Yeah. But we're talking about, using public resources and law enforcement resources.
Well, also just a guy who wasn't he a ranger?
He knows how to survive in the woods, knows how to, attack an enemy.
Boy, that's scary. Well, God bless these guys looking for him, and I hope they bring him to quick justice and that everybody stays safe doing it. All right, we got a lot more coming up. We have for you next, believe it or not, it's Father's Day coming up. There are
this Sunday. This Sunday.
Sunday.
Wow, it could be the best 8 minutes of my year.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Can we talk about this for a second?
Sure.
When we come back, here's what I would like to discuss.
Sure.
There is a big difference between Mother's Day and Father's Day. And I would like to gripe about it next. Not in my house, obviously. I would never complain about my own house.
I know the argument.
No,
I know the argument well, but
kidding.
I'll tell you why we deserve it as dads.
Good.
I'll tell you why we get.
You defend us, dads.
Get what we. No. Why we get what we get, and we deserve what we get. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
All right, Spike,
I'll tell you why.
We might have to argue about this one.
We may see things differently.
We will be right back.
You never know what's in store each morning once you hit the road.
We've got a major traffic alert in effect right now.
While you're getting ready every morning, make us part of your routine.
What morning, huh?
Yeah. Got off to an early start.
Just tell your smart speaker to play KIRO Newsradio or stream us on the app.
Both directions of I-5 are closed.
We'll help you get where you're going faster.
Maybe bail at 512.
KIRO Newsradio. We're on your smart speaker, the app, and 97.3 FM.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code POWER to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code POWER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Are you worried about economic conditions, tariffs, and inflation? Are you tired of trying to time the stock market? Maybe it's time to take a little risk off the table given current market volatility. For stability, there's no better option than Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, a fixed return of 9%. Hi, I'm Scott Rirucka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital in Bellevue. We've been running local real estate investment funds for over 18 years with zero investor losses, averaging double-digit returns since inception, and we also accept IRAs. Over 1,000 local investors have invested over $250 million in our Legacy family of funds. Feeling uneasy? Don't gamble your hard-earned money or risk your retirement. Legacy Group's Northwest Fund, returning 9%, has limited openings for new investors right now.
Call 425-635-4700 or visit LegacyG.com. That's LegacyG.com. This is not investment advice. Legacy investments available to accredited investors only. Details at LegacyG.com.
Are you looking at senior living options for you or a loved one? If so, you likely have many questions like, what can I afford? How long will my savings last? And if I run out of money, will I have to move out? If these questions are weighing on you, I'm here to talk you through different solutions. Hi, I'm Amanda from Care Partners Senior Living. At Care Partners, we're focused on offering high-quality, compassionate care at very affordable prices to help stretch and preserve your assets. And if you ever run out of funds and need to convert to Medicaid, you won't have to move. We have vibrant communities throughout Western Washington, Spokane, and Arizona offering independent, assisted living, and memory care. Our caregivers are some of the most loving and genuine people you'll ever meet. Stretch your assets, preserve your estate, and never worry about moving. That's peace of mind in the Care Partners Living Difference. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com. Care Partners is excited to announce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, Snohomish, and North Creek Bothell. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Someone says they're from Medicare? Hang up. Medicare never cold calls. Offered free medical equipment or services? Toss it. It's likely a scam. Got your Medicare statement? Read it. Spot something strange? Report it. You can fight it. The Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner Fraud Prevention Service is free, unbiased, and here for you. Search Washington Medicare Fraud or call 800-562-6900. That's 800-562-6900.
You know that cartoon of the three-eyed fish swimming in polluted water next to a nuclear power plant?
Yeah, classic.
I used to think that was real, but I just learned that nuclear energy waste isn't some glowing green goo. It's actually used fuel rods from nuclear reactors that made electricity.
Wait, so no barrels of leaking sludge?
No, solid used fuel rods are safely stored at all the nuclear power plants in the U.S., including the one in Richland.
So the cartoon fish isn't real?
Not even close. Learn the facts about nuclear energy and used fuel at energy-northwest.com.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Welcome back to the show. It's Father's Day, just a couple days. Happiest day of the year for many of us, if you have kids. Spike, what's the best Father's Day gift you've ever received?
Oh, that's a wonderful idea.
Think about it. You don't have to come up with it on the spot.
Okay.
Think about it. But before the break, I also put that question out to folks in the YouTube. On the YouTube chat, you guys can answer that question. You can also hit us up on the text line, 888-973-5476. The best Father's Day gift you've ever received or given. I'm going to prime the pump, and then I want to hear from you, Spike, why Father's Day, deservedly so, in your words, is not as important as Mother's Day. This was in a Seattle Times had this article. They asked a similar question. What were some of the best gifts fathers have ever received? I'm just going to read you one. I thought this was really cool. A lady submitted it. She says, I'm submitting this from my late husband, Mark, who received a truly one-of-a-kind Father's Day gift in 2000 from our then 5-year-old. One of the other kids at the downtown daycare our kids attended had the inspired idea to collect a pile of rubble from the recently imploded Kingdome and have the older kids paint a chunk of rainbow colors to give their dads as Father's Day presents. Mark loved it. This unique paperweight held place of pride on his desk at Boeing until his retirement in 2007. Since then, it's been proudly displayed on our bookcase in our dining room. It's a reminder of a former Seattle icon and a wonderful father who left us too soon. That's very nice. That's from Jan Chalupny.
That's nice.
From Seattle. It's very sweet. It's a little picture of a piece of concrete.
Piece of concrete. Yep.
Painted, and I would love that from the Kingdome. How cool would that be?
I've got a piece of Kingdome concrete at home. I still have a little chunk of it, but it's not
awesome.
Painted. Looks like every other piece of concrete I have laying around my house.
It's painted because of the kids. That's nice.
Right, it's nice.
So the kids are a piece of it, and the Kingdome is a piece of it.
Nice.
That's pretty fun. All right, so before the break, we were talking about, I have noticed anecdotally and from personal experience that it seems like Mother's Day might get a little bit more press than Father's Day. Do they have a better PR person working for them? How is this happening? Why is it happening? Why do you think it's fair that Father's Day is seemingly less important? And do you agree that it gets less play than Mother's Day?
I would wholeheartely agree it gets less play. I think there's institutional reasons, but I'll tell you why I think it's justified.
You think it's justified?
I do. And mothers have always had the traditional role of raising the kids.
Yes.
Fathers had to go out and be the breadwinner. You know, the man go out and the hunter-gatherer. Those are antiquated, institutionalized traditional roles of the mother versus the father.
Yes.
So I think that the mother, having spent more time, traditionally, this is a new era we live in where women have equality. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm making a little joke. But that's why Mother's Day got the day. And
women are more equal in my house.
Well, and mine.
Since time immemorial.
I'm the inferior beast in my home, and I'm happy to admit it. But I think that's why Mother's Day has always been a big celebration from morning till night. It's all about mom. Everything about mom that day. Whereas dads get 20 minutes if we're lucky. 8's the average. We timed it at my house, but 8 minutes. 8 minutes of Father's Day celebration.
What's 8 minutes of celebration look like for you?
You sit down, you open a card, you open a box, boom.
And that's it.
That's it.
Here's your day, buddy.
Here's your day, pal.
We'll see you in a year.
Right.
There's some yard work for you to do.
Yeah, where are you doing? How you on that list? How you coming on that list I gave you?
Yeah,
That's what I got for Father's Day was a honeydew list.
That's nice.
No, Melissa, the truly unpleasant Mrs. O'Neill really goes out of her way to make me feel appreciated. At least one day a year.
That's good.
She really does.
Yeah.
364.
You can either have it on your birthday or you can have it on Father's Day.
I get to pick,
and you get to choose, which is a nice thing.
What a luxury.
Yeah.
When I say fathers deserve it.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean,
those are loaded words. You're talking to somebody in the prime of fatherhood right now.
Yeah. Well, you cumulatively 4 boys. You deserve more time than I do. When you look at what it takes to bring a child into the world, 9 months versus 3 to 7 minutes.
Listen, it's not my fault that I'm so good at my part that it's so fast.
Don't penalize me for being efficient.
It takes her 9 months to make her half of the baby. It's not my fault. I have figured out through whatever how to do my part very
efficiently.
Not too quickly.
That's that. If you equate it out,
I am very efficient.
Extrapolate.
I've told my wife
9 months of baby making extrapolates to a whole day of Mother's Day.
Listen,
3 months of father baby making is 8 minutes on Father's Day. That's my point.
Yeah, somebody said online, I like this. Happy spouse, happy house.
That's it.
That's it.
Boy,
happy wife, happy life.
Yep.
That's what it goes back to.
Put that on a pillow, throw it on my couch.
I think the real reason, and my wife is a saint. She spends, she's a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
She spends all her time raising our kids, and she's amazing.
It's a luxury.
It's the greatest.
Yeah. And that's because
we make a lot of sacrifices to do it. We don't live an extravagant life.
That doesn't happen just by accident.
Plus, Daddy's bringing in a ton of money, so it helps. No, just kidding.
No, I hear you. No,
but
you can afford to have a stay-at-home mom.
You do what you can.
Yeah.
You make more people could do it if they wanted to, by the way.
Well, you've prioritized it.
Yeah.
That's important for you. You've got boys at home, young boys at an impressionable age when they need.
Yeah, we have babies who are still, getting mother's milk.
Even when they get out of that phase, you can either be at home or you can work to pay somebody else to raise your kids.
Well, that's the thing, is like a lot of times you are having to make that trade-off, and you go, wait a minute, I'd rather spend time with the kids. She's a saint, though, because if I'm spending all the time with the kids, I lose my mind. It's like
I don't know how they do it.
It's like the overlook.
I don't know how they do it every day.
Absolutely.
But it's easy to see how a dad does it every day. You get out of the house, you make a living, you come home, you give a few minutes to the family, you take a couple chores off the list, boom, you're done.
Bing, bang, boom.
Right?
But you know what? It's a give and a take, and it's a partnership.
It is.
I'm doing one thing, she's doing the other. We're raising the kids.
Team.
We're partners. We're team.
Yep.
And to be honest, my wife is very, very generous on Father's Day with the kids. They always do great.
Yeah.
She's actually much better at gift giving than I am. So she's already got stuff lined up. Me, I'm like Saturday before Mother's Day, I'm out there shopping with the kids. My wife has already had it sent to the house a week ago.
I know, right? The greatest gift that Mother's Day ever got was the Amazon shopping cart.
Yeah.
That's where I go for Mother's Day.
It's prime. Absolutely.
Anyway, greatest Father's Day gift you ever got?
Just my wonderful kids. I'll say just
kids.
Yeah.
It was handmade.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you what it was. Probably it was either a macaroni picture, it was an ashtray, for change, just politically correct. It was a change tray made of clay. But it's when they take the time to invest with their own little hands.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's nice. And sometimes they put a little print of their hand in like a plaster or something.
I got one of those.
I got a bunch of them.
I couldn't tell you which of the kids it's from, but I got it.
They scratch their name. Look at the back.
There you go.
Look at the back. I bet you it's got a name on it. All right, we got a lot more coming up. Stick around. We'll be right back.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard-working, worry-free weed and grass killer that's safe for use around people and pets. When used as directed, spray the leaves for visible results in just 1 hour and dead weeds in just 1 day. You spray, they play. Weeds die by the next day. Find Spruce wherever weed killers are sold.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Here'th my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
So I formed Davis Law Group about 30 years ago, and I would get, the same questions from people about what to do in the case of an accident. Do you need a lawyer? To the point where I decided that I would at least write a book which would answer the common questions that I would receive as a lawyer. Once I wrote my first book, it proved to be hugely popular. I decided to write then a series of books in different accident cases so that we could really teach people about their rights, how to protect them, and how to decide on whether they need a lawyer and what lawyer to hire. I've found in my career that having a client that is educated and knowledgeable about their particular type of case really helps the client and also usually ends up making the case or the claim more successful. To get your free copy of any of my Washington accident books, visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
It started as a puddle.
Where?
In the shower.
Uh-oh.
Then the kitchen sink.
Started backing up?
Yeah.
I know where this is going.
Clogged up.
Right. No problem.
Beg your pardon?
There's no clog we can't clear.
You're Dan.
From Apollo Plumbing.
This is going to get pricey.
How about $83?
To clear my drain?
Apollo Plumbing clears main drains every day.
For $83?
83 or it's free.
What's the catch?
No catch. We'll even do a camera inspection.
Why's that?
It's the best way to find the cause of your clog.
And it's included?
No extra charge. Truth is, we hate clogs.
I don't love them.
Seen them all.
Ew.
I promise, there's no clog Apollo can't clear.
Guaranteed.
83 or free.
Goodbye, slow drains.
All it takes is an accessible clean out.
And Apollo gets my drains draining again.
You call, we come, it's fixed.
My heroes.
Just doing our job.
Thank you, Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Hi, it's John Curley. Longevity Medical Clinic has been helping people live longer, healthier lives for more than 25 years. I've recently talked with Dr. Mixon about his approach to proactively focusing on prevention. Dr. Mixon, I first met you in 2009, and I went in there and I told you I wasn't feeling well, couldn't gain any muscle mass, couldn't sleep well, I was stressed out, and you looked at me and you said, yeah, I know what your problem is.
And all we did was we measured your values and we moved your values back to those of a nice, healthy 25-year-old man.
I have taken your blood work to my doctor, and he was shocked. He couldn't believe the depth in which you study my blood.
We need to draw a distinction between living a long time and getting old. And that's what longevity is all about, is we are here to do the measurements and help you fix those problems.
So get your free health analysis. Go to LongevityMedicalClinic.com. That's LongevityMedicalClinic.com.
With Amazon Business, smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast. Free up your teams and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Your best source for local news. KIRO Newsradio. KIRO FM and HD1. Tacoma, Seattle. Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Cammie McCormick. The angry words continue between President Trump and California officials over the president's deployment of troops to Los Angeles. Mayor Karen Bass.
I feel like we've all been in Los Angeles, a part of a grand experiment to see what happens when the federal government decides they want to roll up on a state or roll up on a city and take over.
California authorities have asked a court for a restraining order to block the troops from the streets of Los Angeles. President Trump today.
If we didn't send out the National Guard, and last time we gave them a little additional help, you would have Los Angeles would be burning right now.
His decision to deploy troops against protesters angry over immigration raids has prompted some comparisons to the January 6 riots. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
It would be interesting to see how exactly he characterizes those that were convicted of carrying out that insurrection at the U.S. Capitol up the street here in Washington versus those he calls insurrectionists or who are carrying out an insurrection in Southern California over the last 5 days.
Defense officials said today the cost of the military operation is $134 million. 10 people are dead, including the suspect in a rare school shooting in Austria. CBS's Holly Williams is covering.
We have no confirmed information at this point about the motives of the suspect. Austria's Chancellor Christian Stocker called the shooting a, quote, national tragedy.
Officials in Gaza say 15 13 people were killed today when Israeli forces fired on Palestinians trying to enter a food distribution center. CBS's Elizabeth Palmer.
It's hard to know what really happened. The Israeli military says that they fired warning shots to distance people they called suspects because they were getting too close and the troops felt threatened.
It is the latest in a series of deadly incidents at food distribution points. Israel's Navy, meanwhile, attacked docks in a rebel-held area of Yemen today. It damaged facilities key to aid shipments there. It's the first time Israel has directly attacked the rebels. Michael Wallace reports on a new economic forecast from the World Bank that factors in President Trump's tariffs.
The bank doesn't mention President Trump or his tariffs by name, but says a substantial rise in trade barriers will slow U.S. economic growth to 1.4%, down from its original estimate of 2.8%. It also sees global economic growth slowing to 2.3%, down from the 2.7% it predicted in January. The World Bank does not expect a recession, but says the global economy has missed its chance for the soft landing from inflation that it appeared headed for 6 months ago.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
2 people are now dead after a tragic incident in Seattle involving a shuttle bus. We'll have a reporter live from the scene. But now from the Beacon Plumbing traffic desk, we're looking very good on the road, except a few concentrated spots. I-405 southbound, just south of 169, there's a disabled vehicle blocking the right lane. And just a few miles away at the I-5 interchange, there's a disabled vehicle partially blocking the HOV lane. Luckily, not much slowing. Bothell to Bellevue's 23 minutes. I-5 northbound just south of Seneca Street. There's a disabled vehicle blocking the left lane. Some slowing behind it, but that's backing up onto the merge from the West Seattle Bridge. So take a few extra minutes if you're coming into town from West Seattle. SeaTac to Seattle is 22 minutes. Other than that, nothing to tell you about. It's a speed limit drive from Federal Way on down to Tacoma and Olympia. This traffic report brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Developing news this afternoon as Seattle police are still on the scene where 2 people died after an apparent accident on First Hill. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch is there and he joins us live. James, what can you tell us?
Well, we've reported 2 elderly women were killed in this accident, Jillian. Seattle police now say there were actually 3 elderly women in that smoke shack, a designated smoking area in the parking lot of the Hilltop House retirement community at Broadway and Alder. A van driver was maneuvering in the parking lot when the accident happened. Here's SPD Detective Eric Munoz.
When reversing, the vehicle struck 2 elderly women, killing them. However, a 3rd woman narrowly escaped the crash and she was not injured.
We also now know the van driver is an elderly man. He was interviewed and examined at the scene by a drug recognition expert. Police say he was not impaired and was released from the scene. Live on Seattle's First Hill, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Thank you, James. Search teams are suited up in tactical gear in their manhunt for Travis Decker, the man accused of kidnapping and killing his 3 daughters near Leavenworth. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin is in Chelan County, where law enforcement believes they may be closing in on Decker.
SWAT teams went into the woods early this morning. Several crews have gone in since then. King and Snohomish County choppers are circling this area for surveillance of where they believe Travis Decker is. The entire King County Sheriff's SWAT team was also specifically called in this morning to take a big lead on this operation today.
The Chelan County Sheriff's Office is warning people in the Ingalls Creek area to lock their doors and report any suspicious activity. This weather update brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. We are going to heat up to 81 degrees this afternoon, mostly sunny, but the clouds are going to move in on the next few days. And by Wednesday, we're going to be in the mid to high 60s, overnight lows all week in the mid 50s. It is 71 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Jillian Raftery for KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
Welcome back to the show. Boy, do we have a great hour ahead for you guys. Unbelievable hour. Ed Cunningham, director of a brand new documentary we talked about, maybe like a month ago on the show?
Yeah, I think we did, when he was first getting ready to stream this. Yeah.
Arcades and Love Songs. It's a follow-up to one of the best documentaries of all time, known as The King of Kong, which is just an unbelievable story. If you haven't seen King of Kong, you need to go and see it. It's fantastic. You should watch it. I think it came out in 2005, 6?
Somewhere in there, yeah. That's my memory's so
7,
useless.
8, whatever. It's really, really great. So this is a follow-up to that. One of the main characters in this strange video game universe, which that documentary explores, is a guy by the name of Walter Day. He's a video game referee, and believe it or not, refereeing video games is not his weirdest career. He also...
I'll say, don't rush past that. Listen to that. As a video game referee.
They're going to join us.
Gainfully employed as a video game referee.
If you haven't already started watching the show live, you can see our beautiful faces. You should be watching. You should go to YouTube. You should go to mynorthwest.com if that's where you want to watch it. It's available multiple places. But if you're on YouTube, go to YouTube, search KIRO News Radio, and then the Jake and Spike live show is going to pop up. They're going to be on with us next, so you can see them, you can hear them, and it's a fascinating story, and it's a lot of fun. And Ed's an old buddy of both of ours, independently, which is crazy.
It is.
So it's going to be a lot of fun. So join us back here for that 1:30. Later on in this segment, if we have time to get to it, which I hope we do, there's something. Am I allowed to say this word? The Ozempic thing?
Sure.
Can you say that word? It's a technical term.
Yes, you can. You better. In fact, you better say the correct medical, clinical term.
Stick around for a few minutes because we're going to talk about this. But there's something that is now being reported and investigated. You've heard of like side effects of like pharmaceutical things?
It's when you watch a 60-second ad for a pharmaceutical product, 35, 40 seconds of it are side effects.
Yeah, there's always like, watch out for hairy palms and all that kind of stuff. But this one is, it's called Ozempic penis. I'm uncomfortable even saying the word because it's a family show. So
Ozempic? Yeah. It's tough to say it out loud without blushing. It really is.
It's tough to say Ozempic.
It is.
Yeah, it's Ozempic and then the male genitalia. If you have kids in the car, I don't want to say it because kids always laugh at that stuff. It annoys me. My kids think it's the funniest thing in the world to make bathroom jokes.
Beats
I'm always telling the kids.
Beats the alternative. They could be saying worse things.
Yeah, I guess.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
I guess.
Yeah.
All right. A lot of stuff to get to. We'll get to that Ozempic story in a few minutes. But if you're taking Ozempic, you've probably already noticed this, and you might be surprised, pleasantly surprised. Let's see here. You guys want to talk about that Macklemore home invasion?
Yeah.
Talk about this for a second? This is
it's
scary.
It's the downside of celebrity. It really is. It's the notoriety that brings about the lowest element of society.
Listen to these details. Can I give you some of these details? Seattle police are investigating. It's a home invasion. Rapper Macklemore. Authorities say that 2 men broke into his home. I have a thought on this. It's probably not the one that you're having, but I'll tell you about it in a second. Let me give you the details first, then we can get into it. Authorities reported 2 men, this is from the Como story, 2 men broke into the home just after midnight on Saturday where they pepper sprayed a nanny. Isn't that wild? Pepper sprayed a nanny.
Horrible.
Police say that the nanny recounted there was a tall one and a short one. The taller one instructed the shorter one, sounds about right, to spray her with bear mace. The taller suspect demanded, "Where are the jewels?" before the nanny then led them to the master bedroom where they stole watches, jewels, and shoes, according to the police. The suspects physically restrained the nanny, but she managed to escape. Apparently, she bit the short one's hand.
Oh, good for her.
Good for her. Bit the hand. She takes off. She runs away. She gets out of the house. Incredible. She escaped to a neighbor's house, called for help, called the police. All of this captured on doorbell cameras. This is this last line here in the story kind of threw me. Second to last line. The incident occurred while 3 children were inside the home. According to Seattle police, the 3 children were safely removed and family members took them to a nearby safe residence, according to police. So when she left the house, I'm assuming the kids were asleep in their beds, but they're also in the house.
Midnight, right?
They're also in the house with 2 masked bear mace
home invaders. I mean, with weapons. The report doesn't say any firearms were used.
No.
And the nanny says she didn't see any firearms. They had bear spray as their weapon.
Sure.
Which is, I guess.
She had her teeth. She bit.
She bit. Yeah. Weapons were both sides.
So she got out of there.
That's. But
so there's a couple other details of the story which we can get into if you want to. She says she believes that the crime might have been politically motivated, which I don't subscribe to that. I think this is probably your typical home invasion. They thought there's jewelry and sounds like expensive footwear.
Yeah. Yeah. They didn't come in and put different flags up for their side of the fight.
I think my guess is, I don't know these criminals. I don't know who did this. These seem like bad guys. We've been hearing a lot about celebrity break-ins.
For everybody from,
Rodriguez.
Julio, to Edgar's home was targeted. Richard Sherman's home was invaded.
Yep.
And it's the downside of notoriety.
By the time
people
Seattle
know you
police
got
arrived,
stuff, know where you live a very public life, you're not at home.
That's right. Seattle Police Department's robbery unit are on the case. They're investigating, so detectives are on the case. They arrived, and the suspects had already fled the scene. So latent prints are being pulled, and they're continuing the investigation. So what do you think about this? You said you had an interesting thought on it that was abnormal.
You know me. I look for the bright side or the funny side to deal with tragedy and deal with anxiety in every issue. Macklemore, he's not necessarily your toughest rapper. If I can, he's not. I noticed no one's breaking into Public Enemy's house, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he's not a gangster, and I think maybe that's why he was targeted.
You think he was targeted because he was?
It's not about. It's about the style of rap he uses.
The style of rap.
Because
he's rapping about thrift stores and stuff like that.
He's a nice guy who happens to rap. He's not trouble. Doesn't have a criminal record.
I don't know about him being.
He doesn't
nice
come
guy.
from the mean streets of Burien or wherever whatever neighborhood.
No, he made his bones rapping about thrift stores and things like that.
He's a decent guy with 3 kids.
I don't know about
I'm just saying.
I don't know him. I don't know. I was wondering, here was my take when I first heard this, because he was in the news recently. He's got a bunch of protest songs.
He did.
He's like a protest guy.
And he came out very publicly on stage and said some things that infuriated a lot of people.
Well, here's the thing. Like, your house gets broken into and you have to call the police, and yet these are some lyrics from a song he just released recently. I'm going to play them for you here, and I just want you to see. Like, if I was a rapper and I had said these things, I would find it awkward to call the cops.
Let me hear.
Let me play the clip for you. Oh, my audio here. All right, here we go.
Is this safe for broadcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was 7, I learned a lesson from Cuban Eazy-E. What was it again? Oh yeah, the police. Actors and badges protecting property and a system that was designed by white supremacy.
After police, he says, actors and badges.
Yeah.
Protecting property, his property in this case, and the system that was designed by white supremacy. He's white, so I guess that's part of it. Wouldn't that be awkward, though? Like, do you think that was all? Here's a question for you. I'm not a cop, and I'm also not a rapper, so I don't know what goes on in the minds of cops or rappers.
Fair enough.
You're on the scene at his place. He's had to call the police. Very scary situation.
Sure.
Obviously for him.
Yes.
Thank God that nobody was hurt.
Danger.
Thank
kids
God
in the house.
The only person that got hurt is one of the break-in
bad guys. Yeah.
I could care less about his hand.
Exactly. I hope he gets an infection.
I hope he gets infected too.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, was there any moment where Macklemore was like, I hope he doesn't listen to my rap music as I'm calling the police, because he did say F the police.
They shouldn't be. There shouldn't be. I think, so that's...
No, I'm saying, do you think... No, not from the police. I was thinking Macklemore.
No.
Macklemore.
And there shouldn't be any hesitation to call the police.
No.
Because you speak up...
No, not hesitation. Any awkwardness in his head. Like, oh, boy. Like, I'm kind of... Because I am immediately calling...
sorry about that F the police thing in my album.
Well, like when you are calling the police to come and protect your property, and you literally wrote a song called... They're actors and badges protecting property, but you're calling the police because you're trying to get your property back.
Yeah, I hear. I see the irony of it. I see it.
There's a little irony there. I wonder if, you know what? It would make a great rap song. Could he come up with a cool rap about this?
When I
would hope
you
so.
Came, yeah. I made fun of you on lyric and turned out to be lame because when I got house broken into and I needed you, you came.
That's
I needed
fresh.
you came.
That is fresh.
There it is.
And that's his way back in with the cops, I think.
I don't think he needs
Olive
to see.
branch.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
I don't think speaking out against the man or the government should prohibit you from using the services, relying on the services of the man.
No, of course
or the
not.
government. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Police shouldn't care if he's the most anti-police rapper of all time. If it was NWA, they still got to come when you call.
It's totally his right. Macklemore's right.
Yeah.
He's the one who said it here. It's
you're just asking if it was uncomfortable for him to call.
I was thinking, do you think at any point in his head, as he's sitting there. I bet you, probably, and again, I'm not a rapper, but I bet you probably he was pretty relieved that the police were there.
Absolutely he was. Sure he was.
And I wonder if he's told him, he goes, I think you're just actors in badges protecting property in a system that was designed by white supremacy. Do you think he thought that? I don't think he thought that.
I think he was.
When the cops were taking fingerprints of his house when somebody broke in and tried to steal his stuff, do you think he was saying F the police then? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not a rapper.
I think there are examples of law enforcement that have gone beyond the boundaries of good police work, legal police work. There's plenty of examples where excessive force has been used or racial stereotyping have been displayed.
That wouldn't be a problem in his case.
Not in his case, but when
like
people
you mentioned at the start of the segment.
When rappers complain about the interactions between law enforcement and the communities of color where rappers sell most of their records, I think they've got valid points to make through art. Right, so I don't.
Yeah, again, I can't speak to that. I'm not a rapper. I don't listen to a lot of rap. I'm just saying.
But you know what he's quoted NWA, right? So was it NWA F the police, right?
Yep.
So I mean, those guys have the right to make the point, and a lot of people think they have some validity to the point they make. And we're not speaking in generalities about all police, of course not.
Do you think he listens to his own music? Like, I wonder if this was on in the house when the police arrived.
When I was 7, I learned a lesson from Cuban Eazy-E. What was it again? Oh yeah, the police. Actors and badges protecting property in a system that was designed by white supremacy.
I'm hoping it wasn't. That's not the alarm.
Awkward.
Hope it's not the alarm on his home when there's an invasion. That's what plays through the house alarm, real loud.
His phone rings.
Right, that's the ringtone.
It's like, Mr. McElmore, you got to, like, his assistant comes in. Mr. McElmore, you got to call.
Yeah.
When I was 7, I learned a lesson from Cuban
Silence that phone.
What was it again? Oh yeah, the police.
Interesting.
Interesting. I just had
I'm glad nobody got hurt.
I am too.
Yeah.
In any of these, we've been very, very lucky in so much that these celebrities who have their homes invaded. No, we really
they all live in very nice areas. Police are quick to respond to nice areas. I mean, he lives in, like, the story said that he's in Capitol Hill. I saw a big gate there. I assume it's a really nice area.
I'm sure it's a wonderful, safe,
unbelievable house.
You guys want to see it? Because I'm totally into like Zillow stalking people.
I feel weird showing it. Don't show it online. I don't want to
it's
show
like
it
hidden by bushes. You would never be able to see it.
But
everyone knows where he lives in Capitol Hill.
Behind the hedge. That's pretty good.
Everyone knows where he lives?
Yeah. That's like common Seattle institutional knowledge.
I'm uncomfortable putting it on.
Part
Can
of
you
a
take
tour,
it down, please.
Part of the tour. You can get on a bus and they'll point it out to you as you drive by.
Let me just tell you what, though, from the pictures I saw, beautiful house.
Beautiful house, but it didn't stop two guys from breaking in at midnight.
I know, it's horrible.
Bear spraying his nanny.
It's horrible.
Putting his kid's safety in danger.
I'm just glad the police were called. I'm glad the police showed up. God bless those cops.
Rewrite it. Thank the police.
I learned a lesson from Cuban Eazy-E. What was it again?
Thank the police.
Thank the police.
Right?
You're right. You should say, thank the police. That's the new song.
Well, who knows what's bleeped there?
Shiny gold badges protecting my property. Protecting my property.
It's not thanked.
Thank the police.
Actors and badges, not anymore, I say. They show up and save the day.
Yeah, there you go.
We should be rappers.
No, we shouldn't.
I look like Macklemore. We could be rappers together. We could rap on a song together.
Can I talk about the upside of notoriety and, dare I say, celebrity?
Money?
For just a second. Well, there's that. I told you today about how my car broke down.
Sure.
Right? And I had to call AAA and how entertaining the AAA operator was.
Mm-hmm.
When the
she was the one who was doing
the robot voice,
right?
She's probably be a gas at the company Christmas party.
Yeah, I bet.
So the driver calls me. The tow truck operator called me, and luckily he called during a commercial break. I was able to go outside, present my ID, and he gets to my car. And Demetrius, the driver from AAA.
Yep.
This is so surreal. I'm listening to the show right now.
Oh, he listens to us.
Listens to the show.
Demetrius, you're a good dude.
He's a great guy. And he said, and my wife's watching, I swear to you, on hand to God, my wife's watching on the YouTube channel.
Oh, you're kidding. What's his wife's name?
I didn't ask.
Demetrius' wife. That's
but he said,
hi, Demetrius' wife.
He said, thanks for talking about Father's Day.
Yeah, protect fathers.
My wife's watching the show.
Hashtag don't forget fathers.
Don't forget Dad. Yeah. Don't forget Demetrius. Happy Father's Day.
That's better than protect fathers. Don't forget Dad. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Demetrius, nice guy. And he listens?
Yeah.
I like him already.
Huge smile on his face. It was like.
Did you get the name of his towing company?
It's AAA. Right on the side of the truck.
It says AAA on it?
Yeah, it was a AAA tow truck.
Fantastic.
Yep.
It's good for him.
For my dilapidated, high mileage used Honda.
Demetrius is good people If he listens to this show, I know instinctively about a person. If they listen to us,
I felt better.
And if his wife watches us
on the YouTube channel, right?
You can tell about a person.
You can.
It's they're good people.
Wasn't
you know what they would never do?
Ne'er-do-what what?
They'd never rap about police in a negative way.
When I was 7, I learned a lesson from Cuban Easy-E. What was it again? Oh, yeah.
Thanks, AAA.
I prefer when he was rapping about thrift stores. That's what I prefer.
That was a great record.
It was all right.
It was a great record.
It was okay.
My buddy Juan's got a Grammy.
I'm not going to give him too much credit now because I don't like critical of police stuff like that. Your house gets called, it gets broken into. I'm glad that the police came, and I'm glad they got everything squared away.
Well, they were professionals. They didn't use his rap.
I don't think they were actors and badges.
No, they weren't. They did their jobs as they do every time they're called upon.
Good job.
Much like the drivers at AAA. So I rolled that back in.
Good people.
Nice, good people doing good things.
People.
Yep.
Good people.
So sunshine, the sunny side of life right here, baby.
Can we do we got to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, this is something you're going to want to watch. People are going to want to get on the YouTubes, get on the My Northwest, just like Demetrius' wife. Go to youtube.com, search KIRO News Radio. The Jake and Spike Show live is going to pop up. You're going to see a lot of people there. You're going to enjoy yourself. Jump on into the chat line. Give the page a like while you're there. Subscribe, all the stuff you're supposed to do to show us that you just can't get enough of us. But the cool part is if you watch next after the break, not only can you see the hijinks that you and I get up to during the commercial break.
We have some fun.
Without sound. It's like an old silent movie. But when we come back, Ed Cunningham, who's the director of a new documentary called Arcades and Love Songs, The Ballad of Walter Day. And Walter Day, the subject of the documentary, which is a sequel to The King of Kong, will join us. It's going to be great. You're going to love it. You can see their happy faces. It's going to be a lot of fun. So stick around. We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
KIRO News Radio is right there with you.
A big story developing this morning
on your smart speaker before you head out the door.
Get the latest live from KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey.
Huge impacts for Boeing and Boeing workers.
The office, the gym, anywhere.
Water, like taxes, goes all the way down to the bottom, so it'll either come out of the employee's paycheck or the lack of raise.
KIRO News Radio. We're on YouTube, our app, your smart speaker, and 97.3 FM.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I saw her texting, coming up to a stop sign. And so I saw the accident coming and she T-boned us.
In the blink of an eye, Crystal's life changed when she suffered a severe spinal injury.
The pain was something I had never experienced before in my neck. I got massage therapy. I saw a chiropractor. I was prescribed muscle relaxers so I could sleep. I got depressed. Nothing was relieving the pain.
Drugs, sleepless nights, and depression. Sound familiar? I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist. At Sound Pain Solutions, our treatments include high-dose laser combined with spinal decompression and other comprehensive therapies to rehabilitate damaged discs. We use treatments that are non-surgical, FDA-cleared, drug and pain-free.
I was able to get off my pain medicines and I was able to sleep through the night, and that was what I was desperate for.
To learn if you're a candidate for our treatment, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025 or click soundpainsolutions.com.
The Mariners are transforming T-Mobile Park into Seattle's hottest karaoke club for Sing-Along Fireworks Night. Don't miss an incredible post-game show this Friday presented by T-Mobile after the team squares off against the Guardians at 7:10.
He does it again! Home runs in 3 consecutive games. Cal Raleigh, the big dumper.
It's your chance to belt your heart out on the big stage to chart-topping hits and feel-good throwbacks. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
Strike 3 ball, triple digits to end it and complete the sweep.
Visit mariners.com/fireworks to get your tickets and see the complete lineup of Mariners fireworks nights this summer, including a patriotic palooza on July 3rd and an 80s show on July 18th. Plus, check out everything else on deck at T-Mobile Park, including a Father's Day socks giveaway this Sunday thanks to Muckleshoot Casino Resorts. Mariners baseball. Trident's up.
Hold up a sec. If I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Fraud is rampant, and those on Medicare are targets. Medicare never makes cold calls, so when someone calls you and says they're from Medicare, hang up. If you get an offer for free medical equipment or services, toss it. When you get your medical statement, read it. And if anything looks suspicious, report it to the Senior Medicare Patrol with Sheba. Sheba is a free, unbiased service of the Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner. If you suspect fraud, search Medicare Sheba or call 800-562-6900.
Charlie Harger here. When your hot turns to cold, you better think fast. Fast water heater. Call 1-800-THINK-FAST. That's 1-800-THINK-FAST or fastwaterheater.com.
You better think fast. Fast water heater.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Search teams believe they could be closer than ever to catching Travis Decker, the father at the center of this massive manhunt near Leavenworth. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has the very latest.
Dozens of deputies and federal agents are hyper-focused on areas up and down Highway 97 just 10 miles south of Leavenworth. I asked KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin what she's seeing on the ground.
Heavy law enforcement presence. They could be setting up a perimeter, and out of the 8 days I've been here, this is the most I've seen.
Autopsies now show all 3 of Decker's daughters suffocated. Investigators don't know if Decker is armed. They're asking everyone in the area to lock their doors and take precautions. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
A Pasco High School graduate grabbed the microphone and said this at a commencement ceremony on Saturday.
This is America. Should have started with English.
Tri-City Herald reports the comment came after the principal gave their welcome speech in Spanish before giving it in English. Student and his family are expected to meet with the administration this week. No word yet if that student will face any discipline. Out of the closing bell reports, Boeing enjoying its strongest month of aircraft deliveries in nearly a year and a half. Jason Brooks has those numbers for CBS.
Boeing says it booked 303 orders in May, including 130 787 Dreamliners by Qatar Airways, the biggest wide-body order in Boeing's history. That's helping Boeing stay in front of European rival Airbus for the 2025 order crown, with Boeing picking up orders for 512 aircraft so far this year, compared to 215 orders for Airbus.
Other Boeing news now. NASA announces new delays for the company's troubled spacecraft Starliner. KIRO 7 TV's Lindsay Sheldon explains.
The soonest it could potentially fly to the International Space Station would be in early 2026. Starliner made its first flight with a crew to the ISS last year, but it had thruster and helium leaks, and NASA decided to send the spacecraft home without astronauts on board. Now, NASA needs to decide whether the next Starliner flight will have humans on board or just cargo.
On Wall Street today, the Dow gained 105 points, S&P 500 up 33, NASDAQ ahead by 123. Going now to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. This report is brought to you by Seattle Sports. We are all clear in Renton on southbound 405. Just past the Maple Valley Highway, a sealed vehicle was blocking the right lane. Still seeing a little backup approaching the area right now. Bellevue to Renton, about a 30-minute drive. That's a 10-minute delay right now. Rest of the map actually in very good shape right now, just showing some minor slowdowns into downtown Seattle. Starting at about the Ship Canal Bridge right there after the U District. About a 40-minute drive right now, average. Lake bridges are wide open. Nothing big slowing you down heading north into Everett from Seattle or Bellevue. And Tacoma to Olympia also looking good at this moment. And the Renton to Puyallup Drive, that has taken you right about 40 minutes. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial. Head to 97.3 HD2. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Not quite as hot as it's been the last couple of days, but we will see temperatures today in the upper 70s and low 80s potentially. Right now we have 75 in downtown Seattle and sunny. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. I have been excited about this conversation we're about to have for a long time. I'm a huge fan of this documentary. It came out a number of years back. It is near and dear to me. It's one of the best. I would consider it a sports documentary. It's like kind of the esports world. And it's really before the esports world took off, I think, and is what it is today.
Interesting. That's a good take.
There's a documentary called The King of Kong, which is just unbelievable, and it's fantastic. And one of the stars of that documentary is a guy by the name of Walter Day. And Walter Day is a very interesting character. And one of the producers of the documentary is Oscar-winning producer and director Ed Cunningham, who also joins us on the show right now. So I want to welcome Ed Cunningham and Walter Day. Welcome, guys.
Hello. Now, which one's which? I can't tell the difference between the two. I kid you guys. Hi, Walter. Hi, Ed.
Hey, you guys.
Hi, Spike.
So this is really great. And if you guys are watching online right now, or you're on our YouTube page, you can see these guys. They're bright, shiny faces right now. Ed, let's start with you. It's been a few years since King of Kong came out, but it became a cult favorite. I'm trying to remember, was King of Kong as celebrated at its release as it eventually became as time went on?
Yeah, it was really important how it was released, and we were lucky enough to be with Picture House and New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers, and they did a great job. It was more traditional back then. We played the film at Comic-Con, and it killed there. I think we ended up playing in like 53 markets theatrically. So they really pushed it out, and it really took hold. And because the DVD market was still pretty robust then, it had a good 2 or 3 year run. So yeah, it really sort of caught on. What's happened though, because of digital video, it's available now on video on demand, like our new film is.
Yeah.
Everyone can get it at any time, and so people find the King of Kong now all the time. So yeah, there was inklings it was going to play well. Comic-Con and South by Southwest were two screenings that we knew it hit the core audience, which was gamers and sort of classic gamers.
Yeah.
Whereas this film about Walter, Arcades and Love Songs, which is a follow-up, it's not part 2 of King of Kong, although obviously we get into it. This one is a broader story. It's a more personal journey. Whereas that one, we sort of nailed, I think. Well, you said sports drama. That's what we thought of as an 80s sports drama.
What's great about the original King of Kong, but also this movie, is you don't have to be a video game fanatic to care about those movies. And the reason those movies work so well is because the people you're meeting and who exist in that universe are so unique, which brings us to Walter. Walter, you're the founder of Twin Galaxies, so you're introduced in The King of Kong as a very kind of eclectic, unique character that I hadn't really seen before on screen. And then all these years later, we find out that you also have this passion for making music. And Ed, you directed this new movie called Arcades and Love Songs, The Ballad of Walter Day, which follows Walter's journey as you're about to release for the first time ever your original music. Is that right?
Yeah, my original music, a music that I was hearing in my head, almost like channeling a radio station. Well, maybe I was channeling KIRO years ago. Who knows?
Not if it was music. Was the music like bum ba bum bum ba bum bum? I think that's why I know why you're hearing that music.
We're a talk station, but I get your point. Continue.
Oh, yeah. So essentially, I had a glamorous girlfriend who one day calls me up and says, Walter, I secretly have been seeing a friend of yours. And it caused so much heartbreak that an incredible phenomena started. I started actually having music that I was listening to coming up out of the body. And it was original songs. And to me, they were incredibly beautiful. And even though I had no inkling of ever being a singer or a songwriter, I was completely on fire, completely fixated, completely devoted to the idea that someday I get up on the stage, I produce those songs, and I perform those songs for the public so they could hear how beautiful those songs were, too.
But that kind of passion is what gave us Rumors from Fleetwood Mac, Walter, so I'm glad you leaned into the passion and the heartbreak of making music, because that's where true music comes from, is tragedy, heartbreak, and passion, my friend.
But you had never performed in front of a crowd before. And Ed, were you worried about that in the documentary? Because you follow him along, you're like, what's going to happen? Is this like, I guess for you it's good, because if it's a train wreck, it's entertaining, and if it's great, it's even better.
So when we did King of Kong, a big reason that Walter's music made it into King of Kong, he has this moment in that film from 2007 where he's sharing this song and he doesn't want to be the video game referee anymore. He wants to perform this music. And that was 20 years ago that we filmed that. And so for me, it was really full circle where here's this guy, and I've heard the songs. I don't know if you guys have listened to his music.
Yeah.
And just quick plug on our website, arcadesandlovesongs.com. We do have the album up with liner notes. And we have video on demand. It's available on video on demand. You can click a button. It's all right there because I love Walter's music. It's got earworms. It's got great harmonies. It's beautiful. And then when we filmed with him in the studio and I started to hear, I'd only heard acoustic or piano versions. So to hear it come together with real musicians, a real engineer, and a real studio, I was sort of blown away. But he wouldn't do a show before the big show. I kept trying to get him to do an open mic, like, dude, go play with your acoustic. There's a coffee shop. It's where he ended up playing, actually, in Fairfield. He's like, nope, I want that night to be the first night. And I have to say, I didn't even think about it until he got on stage and completely froze. And
which is a part of the new movie. You're sitting there like watching, you're like, what is going to happen?
Because I was in the back of the room, having not done the math that he wasn't going to be able to pull it off. Because I knew the music was great. I knew he knew his lyrics. He practiced. When he froze with, like, we had 6 cameras. We had 5 people working that night. We have a huge crew. We've already shot the film. I'm hoping this is the end. So I was pacing in the back for like the first 5 minutes. I had to sort of step away. I was really worried he was going to fall on his sword.
That's why Walter choked, was you. You're the reason he got froze up. Thanks for the pressure, Ed.
So nervous because of him.
Yeah. But what was beautiful is Walter has spent his whole life pushing other people forward. You know, we know of Billy Mitchell. We know of Steve Wiebe, which is how I got to know Walter, was through Steve Wiebe. And then, you know, the esports had come after that, which we show in the film, the outcome of his work.
Yeah, huge.
He was honored in Iowa with like 300 esports athletes from high school and college there from Iowa. And so for that to come full circle, everyone was there, all of the icons from King of Kong. And then importantly, his hometown, he's lived in Fairfield, Iowa since the late 70s. And for us, that audience really brought him, I think, the strength and the power to really nail it. He ended up having a great show.
You know, it's funny, when King of Kong came out, you know, it was 2007. I couldn't believe it's been almost, like you said, 20 years ago. You filmed this stuff and it came out almost 20 years ago. I didn't see it as a sports movie. I just saw it as a passion movie. It really caught the passion of all the characters involved, including Walter. And now here we are again telling a story of passion. So Ed, I got to give you credit for being able to see just the story and seeing what is really the driving underlying river of the bedrock of the story you're telling. This is another story of passion, and Walter's the guy bringing it for you.
Well, let me interject this.
Yeah.
By the time 20 years had gone by, I was at an event, and I was still in love with the music, but had never been able to do it. And suddenly at an event that Billy Mitchell and I were at, a couple of guys walked out of a crowd and said, "Oh, we recognize you from the King of Kong." And then they said, "Whatever happened to that music you talked about?" And I said, "It's still my dream, still my heart's desire, my most important thing, but just the world kept getting in the way." And they said, "Well, we had a game called Color Switch that was real successful, and we've got money, and we want to pay for your album, all expenses paid, and give it to you as a gift and complete that music." And next thing I know, I'm in a music studio recording my music. Ed finds out about that and says, "Oh my God, what a story. From 40 years ago to 20 years ago to now, what an incredible story arc." And they decided we have to do a story on this. And the theme of the story, the motto of the story is, "It's never too late."
You know, the cool thing, Walter, that I love in this new documentary, it's out now, people can see it, Arcades and Love Songs, The Ballad of Walter Day. And you capture this so great, Ed, but when you're talking to those guys, like you just said, Walter, the reason they wanted to pay for you to do your album is because they got so much joy out of seeing what you had given to other people in your work at Twin Galaxies, even so far back as, and I think this is highlighted in the documentary, when that video game phenomenon was like sweeping around the world. And what was it? Was it the cover of Time magazine back in the 1980s? Is that right?
Well, it was the cover.
It was Life magazine.
Life magazine. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Life magazine.
Yeah.
You have all these people, including Billy Mitchell and all these other guys who are like featured prominently in King of Kong, and then also in this new documentary, Arcades and Love Songs. They're all brought there because of you, Walter, with Twin Galaxies, and yet you're not in the picture. You stand in the background. You let these guys kind of take the spotlight. And so the idea that all these years later, somebody finally says, "Let's put the spotlight on this guy and highlight him," was fantastic. I just loved it. Can you guys stick around? We hadn't planned on doing 2 segments with you, but can you guys stick around for a couple more minutes? Because I do want to get into, you have become quite a famous person. I got to say, Walter, you're like the least likely famous person in the world. So I'd be interested in what that has done to your life.
That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Okay, so let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll keep chatting with Ed and Walter. So stick around. We'll be right back.
The Closing Bell is brought to you by Legacy Group Capital's Northwest Fund.
Hey, it's Charlie Harder.
And I'm Amanda Factor.
And coming up on the show, we have Emmy Award-winning actor Jeremy Piven. You know him from Entourage.
An agent actually said to me one time, he goes, "I'm having trouble getting you work on your hiatus because everyone's saying there's no way that's acting."
What's bringing him to Seattle later this summer?
We'll tell you. Coming up tomorrow morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Seattle's Morning News, 6 to 9. Watch the interview on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube page and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
Hey 12s, Steve Rabel here, voice of your Seattle Seahawks. The wait is over, and tickets are on sale now for our historic 50th season. This season is going to be legendary, with past, present, and future colliding at Lumen Field. Get your tickets today at Seahawks.com/tickets.
The sun is shining. It's a beautiful day out for baseball here at T-Mobile Park.
Home. Home is where you gather. With friends. With family.
Ball to right field. It continues. Jorge Polanco.
Sometimes even folks you don't know. but in a way, you do. Because you share at least one thing in common. And one thing can be pretty powerful when it's multiplied by 40,000.
Everybody on their feet here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Welcome home.
Don't miss next week's showdown at T-Mobile Park between the Mariners and Red Sox. The boys from Beantown are visiting for a 3-game set, Monday, June 16th through Wednesday, June 18th. Catch Cal Raleigh and the crew as they take on the Red Sox in this marquee matchup. Lock in your seats now at mariners.com/tickets.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with some great news. I'm with Shannon O'Kelly, physical therapist and owner of IRG Physical and Hand Therapy. Shannon, you guys just increased your community coverage.
That's right, Brock. We like to say we're in your neighborhood. We have you covered here at IRG. We just added 2 fantastic locations. One is in Harbor Square in the Edmonds Bowl, and the other one is in the Mill Creek Town Center, right to the entrance to Mill Creek Town Center. So we'll be able to provide fantastic care to all of us and everybody's neighborhood.
You know I love it. Expert physical and hand therapy right in your neighborhood.
That's right. We're in your neighborhood. We want to be your neighborhood family physical therapist. We'll take care of you, your family, and your neighbor.
And remember, no referral needed. Just personalized care when and where you need it. Visit irgpt.com and schedule your appointment today. With over 40 convenient locations, IRG is right in your neighborhood. And now, 2 new spots as well. That's irgpt.com, irgpt.com.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
Free consultations, no fee guarantees, 5-star reviews. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains the importance of going beyond these familiar offerings.
Accident victims want an attorney, Tom, that satisfies their needs. Someone who handles those needs with the highest degree of care. Pendergast Law offers the no-fee guarantees and free consultations, but these only scratch the surface.
Okay, explain more.
We make sure that every member of our team is genuinely passionate about helping others. Customer service and communication are our top priority. It's how we take care of our clients so they always feel one step ahead of the insurance companies. Our strong reputation for high standards provides comfort and confidence when it's needed most.
Pendergast Law offers the free consultations, the no-fee guarantees, and of course, they are 5-star rated. But what really makes them different is their genuine passion for helping others. I can't recommend them enough.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
That's PendergastLaw.com.
Call or click 811 before you dig. Anything that causes you to roll up your sleeves a little and dig in requires you to first connect with 811. Call or click 811 and visit safeexcavator.com.
Stop struggling to get your job posts seen on other job sites. Indeed's Sponsored Jobs feature helps you stand out and hire fast. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Start having fun. Caesar Sportsbook at Muckleshoot Casino Resort is your #1 place to eat, drink, watch, and have fun. Keep up with your favorite sports anywhere and everywhere on property with the mobile app. Visit MuckleshootCasino.com today. Scan the QR code and let the play begin.
Muckleshoot. All right, welcome back to the show. I'm really, really excited. We have a couple of my favorite people on right now. This is a real treat for me. I hope you're enjoying it as well. Ed Cunningham, Oscar-winning producer and director, joins us. He's directed a new documentary called Arcades and Love Songs, The Ballad of Walter Day. And the subject of the documentary, Walter Day, joins us as well. Walter, before the break, we were talking about how you have become famous through your work on these documentaries and being featured. How has that changed your life? As I mentioned before the break, you're like the least likely famous person I've ever seen. So what is that? How are you handling that? And what does that feel like?
Back in 1983, I had been in the Greensboro News Record in Greensboro, North Carolina, like 4 times, and then they suddenly realized it. So they actually considered writing a story about me, about the most famous, not famous person in the world. So it's kind of funny you brought that concept up. But who knows? Fame is very fickle. Who knows how it's all going to play out? But I'm just open to embracing it all. It's just another unique, interesting experience. Because Twin Galaxies is extremely interesting, and this might be probably will be on at least a par with the Twin Galaxies phenomenon.
And we're going to put a link up to the movie page, and also where people can go and see some of your music. We'll put that on all our different social media accounts. So if you guys are listening right now and you want to hear it, have you been playing music your entire life, Walter? Has this been a secret passion of yours?
Well, I used to play the guitar, and I used to actually give ragtime piano concerts where I actually played Scott Joplin ragtime songs as good as you'd hear on the records. So I gave a couple dozen performances back in the 1973 to 83 era. But then I let that fall to the wayside, and I can't remember any of my songs. But this thing, that the reason I froze on the stage was because I was in over my head. I was in completely uncharted waters. I had never sung in front of people. This was completely unique and original, new to me. And I had never thought I was going to be a singer, never planned to be a singer. I didn't really have what I call a singer's voice. I had to work hard to have my voice be passable for that night's performance. So it was an interesting challenge for me because Ed had heard me speak in front of many thousands of people for many years, and I never froze or got nervous. Suddenly, for the first time ever, I was nervous because this was so challenging and new.
Well, singing's a full-on different thing, right? Like, Ed, how did you first time, and we got only just a couple minutes left here, but how did you try to shrink this whole world down into just one documentary? That seems like an incredible amount of work.
It was knowing the source material and how it tied into that story, because a part of this story was Walter got pulled into a lawsuit that came out of the King of Kong. There was cheating allegations.
Yeah.
He got pulled into this broad lawsuit. And so that, to me, was part of the hook of the story, too, is here's this guy who became famous partly because of our film, but he was also struggling. This lawsuit was frivolous. It was really hard on him. So I just took it as a responsibility to help this guy out. But immediately from the beginning, and even Walter said this story was kind of already written. He was already working on his album. There already was a lawsuit, and he was already going to go play that show. So really, it was just a matter of make sure you capture it properly, get other people talking about him, but really, how can we be as verite as possible, follow scenes. And really the gift for us, though, Jake, is what we couldn't plan on, is that the woman who broke his heart and was the muse for these songs, she played along. She's in the film. And it's really changes the dynamic. That's the part we couldn't write, and that's the part we had to really nail in post-production was her story and making sure, because she's amazing. No offense, Walter, she steals the show. She really is the star of this movie.
Just last night in a message, I told her that she's the star of the show because she's so dignified and so poised, and she completely owns up to the fact that she broke my heart, but she handles it with incredible dignity and smoothness and sweetness, and she's beautiful. She's still beautiful at the age of 73 or 74, and so she's a phenomenon. And I agree with you, Ed. She steals the show.
But Walter, that's what makes you an endearing, if not, dare I say, lovable central character. Is even when we got a movie with, it's the Ballad of Walter Day, but here's she's stealing the show.
And he's cool.
You're so cool with it.
He's not like trying
that's
to
what that's
claw
what
it back.
you are literally a black hole of love, and people just suck all the love from the universe right into your little world. Ed, you are an incredible storyteller, man, and I've known this. I've known you for decades. We just lost David Johansen in the New York Dolls recently.
Yeah.
And if people haven't seen, you made a movie. I think it was your first, The New York Doll.
Yeah.
And again, you were at the right place at the right time, but saw the story, and were able to tell the story.
Yeah, and this film, because that was Arthur Killer Kane's story from the New York Dolls, I think this film, Arcades and Love Songs, is way more like New York Doll than King of Kong.
It's a love story.
It's really an artist who had his heart broken because his band didn't work out, and for Walter, the girl left him. And, it's going late in life, and that was the truth for Arthur, who ended up tragically passing away. But, a lot of parallels, Spike, between this and New York Doll.
Where can people find this before we lose time?
It's on video on demand, so every platform around the world,
Good for you.
Amazon, Apple TV, YouTube movies, wherever you rent and buy digitally, it's available. And then for Walter's album, it's out there on all the streaming platforms, but also we're selling a digital copy with a really cool set of liner notes on our arcadesandlovesongs.com website.
Fantastic. All right, well, we like feeling good on this show. We like people leaving feeling good. And I honestly, if you go and watch Arcades and Love Songs, you're going to feel good about the world when you watch it. Walter has that effect on people. So thank you guys so much for coming on. We appreciate it, Ed and Walter. Go check it out, Arcades and Love Songs. We'll put it on all our social media stuff for you guys listening. We'll check it out. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you guys. Love you both, man.
We got a lot more
Wonderful
coming
people.
up. Stick around. We're going to be right back.
It's all too common of an occurrence. You need some work done on your home, so you call 3 contractors. Someone didn't even show up to provide an estimate. Another gave you a quote that changed twice. So you settle on the third, who left behind a mess you're still trying to clean up. At Valentine Roofing, we know you don't just want someone to complete your job. You deserve the one, because it's your home and you want it done right. Skip the headaches. Valentine Roofing is the one. At Valentine, we take pride in what we call the Valentine experience. It's 3 simple principles we focus on every day: seamless communication, meticulous cleanup, and going the extra mile. So next time you need work done on your home's exterior, remember who the one is. Valentine Roofing is the one who provides hassle-free estimates within about an hour of our arrival. We're the one who stands behind our work with a lifetime warranty, and we're the one who truly cares about your Valentine experience. So for all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, schedule your free estimate today with the one, Valentine Roofing, by calling us at 206 Roofing.
G. Scott here with Jonathan from DUI Heroes to tell us how the legal team at DUI Heroes treats new clients.
What we always do is recognize the human being behind the charge and treat them the way we would want to be treated. All of us take care of you together through the entire process.
People make mistakes. If you or a loved one has been accused of DUI, call DUI Heroes and speak to a lawyer who will listen and be there for you. DUI Heroes can help you. Call 1-800-DUI-HERO or DUIHeroes.com.
I was drafted in 1999 by the Philadelphia 76ers, and that was just absolutely a dream come true.
Todd's playing in the NBA is unique. His battle with neuropathy is not.
I first started noticing problems a couple years into my NBA career, and I felt like my sock was just balled up right in the arch of my foot, and there'd be areas of burning and tingling, and then there'd be other areas of deadness where there would be no response to touch. We tried everything possible, from surgery to different drugs, to try and take care of some of the symptoms.
I'm Dr. Mark Shelley, a chiropractic physician and board-certified functional neurologist at Sound Pain Solutions. Our neuropathy treatments can rehabilitate damaged nerves. We use FDA-cleared, non-surgical, non-drug, pain-free procedures that have helped thousands of neuropathy sufferers find relief.
Now I'm able to spend more time doing the things that I enjoy, being on my feet.
If you experience numbness, shooting, or burning pains, or loss of balance, call us. Sound Pain Solutions, 855-996-0025, or click soundpainsolutions.com.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from Nunn Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, not all tax resolution companies are the same. There are some that are definitely not local. There are others that don't quite know what they're doing even.
Well, I tell you, these ads that all of us hear, Fresh Start program, they make you feel like, hey, man, I can just easy peasy get my taxes written off. No. And I've had several clients actually come to me after going through that process, and they just get no response after a while. They're passed around from person to person. That doesn't happen at my firm.
You are familiar with the cases that come in. You're working on them.
I'm familiar with every case that comes into our office. And I know what's going on and have the ability to really advise our taxpayers very well on what to do.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, then call Greg Nunn. Nunn Better Tax Resolution, from stress to success with IRS Solutions. 425-947-1967 or Google NUNN. Nunn Better Tax Resolution.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. A court has been asked to limit the troop deployment in Los Angeles to protecting federal buildings. It's the latest in the back and forth between the White House and the state over the protests there. President Trump just moments ago.
Not only are these service members defending the honest citizens of California, they're also defending our republic itself. And they are heroes. They're in there, they're heroes.
Speaking to troops at Fort Bragg.
In Los Angeles, the governor of California, the mayor of Los Angeles, they're incompetent.
Representative Yvette Clarke is chair of the Congressional Black Caucus.
If this president is willing to send military troops into an American city over peaceful dissent, we must ask, what happens next?
Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth was on Capitol Hill today, insisting the troops are needed to protect federal agents.
We believe that ICE, which is a federal law enforcement agency, has the right to safely conduct operations in any state and any jurisdiction in the country.
The Defense Department estimates the deployment will cost $134 million. Earlier, President Trump observed a military demonstration before addressing the troops at Fort Bragg.
This week we honor 250 years of valor and glory and triumph by the greatest fighting force ever to walk the face of the earth, the United States Army.
And he announced more bases will revert to their previous names: Fort Hood, Fort Pickett, Fort Lee, and Fort A.P. Hill. A new UN report warns fertility rates around the world are declining at an unprecedented rate.
The UN Population Fund survey found most people want 2 or more children, but 1 in 5 say they will not have their desired number. They cited financial reasons, infertility, lack of time, or lack of a suitable partner. Demographer Anna Rockhurch.
It seems that the whole humanity currently is entering the era of low fertility.
The UN fears some countries will overcorrect like they did 40 years ago when they worried they had too many people. Now they're looking to boost fertility again. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
In Gans, Austria today, a rare school shooting. Tina Kraus reports.
The mayor called the killings a terrible tragedy and said special forces were among the police deployed to the high school after a call saying shots were fired.
10 people died, including the gunman, who officials say was a former student. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials finished 105 points higher. This is CBS News.
A word from Progressive Insurance. Life can be hard, so Progressive can make bundling your home and auto easy. Hope that helps. Learn more at Progressive.com or 1-800-PROGRESSIVE.
Gearing up, moving into the mountains near Leavenworth. We have new details in the search for Travis Decker. But first, we go to the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk, and we got a problem on I-5 southbound, right around the Greenwood area, just south of North 85th Street. A collision blocking the 2 right lanes. Got a pretty thick backup. Starting at around Northgate, it does clear up nicely as you approach the U District, then you jam up again right around the Ship Canal Bridge heading into downtown. Right now, Linwood to Seattle, taking you about 50 minutes. That's about a 20-minute delay for this time of day. Bellevue to Renton still pretty thick right now. Once you reach Newcastle, though, it does start to clear up. And then the Renton to Puyallup Drive, about average for this time of day, looking at about a 40-minute trip. Lake bridges are in good shape. And also we have just cleared an incident in the Mount Baker Tunnel. The disabled vehicle was blocking the HOV lane on westbound 90, but again, that is all clear. This report brought to you by KIRO Newsradio.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The search for Travis Decker is ramping up in the mountains south of Leavenworth. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin is there as search teams believe they have narrowed in on that former Army Ranger who's accused of killing his 3 daughters.
Now, the King County chief says this group is highly trained and ready for this kind of search. They packed up ATVs, chainsaws, lots of food and water, rifles, and tactical gear, including shields.
Now, digital reader boards telling people in the area to not pick up hitchhikers, and the Chelan County Sheriff's Office is telling residents in the Ingalls Creek area to lock their doors. It appears a tragic accident in Seattle's First Hill neighborhood where 2 women died in the parking lot of a retirement community. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch reports from that scene.
Seattle police now say there were actually 3 elderly women in a smoke shack in the parking lot of the Hilltop House retirement community at Broadway and Alter. A van driver was maneuvering in the parking lot when the accident happened. Here's SPD Detective Eric Munoz.
When reversing, the vehicle struck 2 elderly women, killing them. However, a 3rd woman narrowly escaped the crash, and she was not injured.
The driver was interviewed and examined at the scene by a drug recognition expert. Police say he was not impaired and was released from the scene. On Seattle's First Hill, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
3 Seattle area climbers died last month in the North Cascades after a series of mistakes during their descent. This is according to a U.S. Forest Service report obtained by the Seattle Times. It says the group lacked the necessary skills for the icy and rocky terrain. Climbers also relied on an old, unstable piece of equipment which contributed to that accident. Wildfire near Cle Elum has now destroyed at least 2 structures. The Red Bridge fire erupted yesterday. Currently stands at around 50 acres. These locals tell KIRO 7 TV.
It's super windy. It's almost 100 degrees out. It's really dry.
And because of the wind, it just took off.
Now, investigators believe the fire is human caused. Crews say they have stopped any forward progress, but still the latest updates show it is 0% contained. Weather report brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Clear skies today, lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 70s and low 80s this afternoon. Right now, 76 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO Newsradio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO Newsradio, Northwest News. It's the all-new Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio.
All right, welcome back to the show. Believe it or not, 2 hours down, 1 to go. Don't worry, it's going to be a great hour. You don't need to be so sad and depressed about missing us for the rest of the day. We're going to have a lot of fun. Still a lot of fun to have before the show ends. All right, let's get into it. We're going to talk about a very interesting Ozempic side effect in just a little bit, which we were teasing a little earlier in the show. I think you will be pleasantly surprised by the story. It's bizarre and weird. But let's start with Metro buses. Let's start a little more local. Did you see this, Spike? Metro buses are getting safety partitions for drivers.
I saw this. I saw the story, and I saw the need for it. Of course, we've all seen the stories about the drivers who were attacked.
Yep.
Drivers were exposed to secondhand fentanyl smoke on buses, all the different...
Which apparently happens daily.
Yeah, daily.
Yeah.
And I mentioned about a month and a half ago, I got to ride a bus for the first time in a couple of years and had a very pleasant experience.
Sure.
Apparently, as Jason Rance told me...
Best high of your life.
No, that wasn't the experience. I had a drug-free experience on a Metro bus, and Jason Rance told me it's because of the line I picked. It's because of the route that I had picked. There are other routes in town that are more subject to... infiltration by people of
druggies.
Druggies,
yeah,
or the homeless
that
that spend time on buses. But I noticed when I was on the Metro bus, there was a partition already.
Yeah.
Around the bus driver, there was a plastic shell, basically.
It's great, just like those COVID things that we all, saw during COVID times for seizures.
But that wasn't enough to protect the drivers. There was already a physical barrier between myself and the bus driver.
Yeah.
But that's not sufficient for the risks that these drivers face on a daily basis.
Now it's going to be like an armored vehicle for these guys.
Yeah, a cone of safety.
Their little thing. And if I were a driver, I'm thrilled about this. I think this would be really great. Again, I have never driven a bus professionally, but I would only imagine if you're on one of these routes and you're worried about getting stabbed. We had that horrible story back in December of 2024.
Oh, the driver trying to get a guy off the bus.
Sean Yim,
Yep.
he was killed on his route. Somebody was, messing around on the bus, and then he ends up getting off the bus, and he gets stabbed and killed.
Yeah, so over in the
and then dragged away.
Yeah.
It's the worst story ever. You need to protect these drivers, and the union has been asking for this. They've been saying, "Hey, King County Metro, you got a real problem here. You got to figure this out. Otherwise, we can't recommend that our drivers stay driving for you. It's not safe. It's not worth your life.
It's not. No one will take the
Risking
job.
your life. Yeah, absolutely.
Let me ask you this, though, because there are a couple ways to solve this problem of unruly behavior and environments on our public transportation system, whether it's light rail or it's a Metro bus. I get, keeping the driver safe is an important, objective. I get it. What's that leave the rest of us subjected to?
That's a great point. You shouldn't turn the bus over to lawlessness.
Exactly. I mean, one way to solve this problem is to have a guard, an armed security member on every bus.
I would highly recommend not living in an area where you need to ride a bus that has a safety shell on it for the driver.
Well, I hear you. And as we invest in the infrastructure of our city and we invest in the services that the community needs, when people are addicted to drugs and they find themselves on buses, I tend to not blame the victim here, which I think addiction is a medical situation. I know it's often horrible life choices and poor decision making that leads people to these environments of drug addiction and public drug addiction, public drug use. But I still think they deserve the services of society that we invest in as taxpayers in the city.
Well, not if they're breaking the law.
Well, oftentimes they're breaking the law because they're addicted to drugs.
Well, yeah, but they're still breaking the law.
No, I get you. And
what about somebody who breaks into somebody's house because they're addicted to drugs?
No, I'm with you. They still deserve to be punished for. They still deserve to be punished for breaking the law.
Yeah.
But unless you take down the root problem of drug addiction and treat that with systemic social treatment programs and services and facilities to help alleviate this problem, it's like the forest fire. You oftentimes they'll take out the fuel of a fire. My point being here, I don't want them to surrender. To your point, don't surrender the rest of the bus and us as passengers.
The rest of people who ride buses, and I don't. I've made a personal choice not to ride buses for this very reason.
I got to take a bus today. I got to get on public transportation today because my car's in the shop.
I offered you a ride.
I may take you up on it, given the story.
I wouldn't ride on a bus.
I know, right?
I offer you a ride.
I'm a big strapping guy. I can handle myself on a bus. But my point being,
all right,
if I get keeping the driver safe, but how about the rest of us?
You should take that. We have a leftover. I think this is from COVID times. It's in the corner of the studio here. You see that?
Yeah.
Can you hold that up?
Sure.
It's like a plastic
Let me show you.
shield.
For you folks, if you're not watching the show on YouTube,
this is what I want. Here's what I want you to do, Spike. When you take the bus today, I think you should get onto the bus holding this. And anybody who comes near you,
can you hear me?
No, they can't.
Okay.
They can't hear you.
Okay. Now, see, it's a cone of silence. Basically, it's
Look
the
how well
plastic
it works.
shield. It's the plastic shield we had in here during COVID, so we could have people in the same studio and keep the airborne.
Yeah, because that science was so smart.
It worked a little bit.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, well, how's that working?
Well, it protects you from. Yeah, we can't hear you,
Well,
but if I sneeze on you, it's going to go right over it.
Did I spit on you? No,
it's an inch above your face. You have now spit on me because we're in the same studio together. It's floating around in the air, and it's going to get on me.
I thought you were going to tell me to take the Seahawk helmet for my safety, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
Okay, I will actually pay you money if you will wear the Seahawk helmet
and take this
and bring that plastic partition with you and sit on the bus and somehow duct tape your phone to your chest.
Okay, and
so
film
that
the
you
whole
can
thing.
film the whole thing just to see people's reactions.
Let me ask you this though: if we're going to spend public resources.
It's our resources, but yeah.
Wouldn't you rather the city didn't let a guy on the bus that was holding this plastic shield and wearing a football helmet? Wouldn't it be better there was a guard there that said,
It would be better
Spike,
if they stopped. They said,
Spike,
hey,
don't get on the bus.
Guy, we're going to say no. we're going to pass.
Right.
We're going to pass on
tell
this
the
guy.
driver, don't stop at this stop.
See that guy wearing a helmet?
And hold
that
the plastic
silly thing,
shield?
Spitting on that shield.
I don't want him on the bus.
He doesn't need to ride the bus
that's
today.
my point.
Yeah, I agree. But that would be funny. You should do it today.
I'm taking it.
You should take it. Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a really good idea. And then you could wrap a little saran wrap around the mouth guard on that Seahawks thing.
There you go.
Just to keep you for a little extra distance away from the fentanyl that you're going to get on the bus. For the drivers, though, I think because they're not doing their job, because whatever, King County Metro is not prioritizing.
No, the public safety and
people
the
on the
cleanliness
bus and making sure it's safe and keeping drugs off the bus.
Agreed.
So until they're willing to do that, this is
keep the drivers safe.
Unfortunately, what they have to do. They're going to retrofit 1,300 buses with these partitions.
At what cost? Do we know?
I mean, if it keeps people from getting stabbed, then I think it's worth the cost. And maybe visually, this is what it takes for people to walk onto a bus and go, "Oh boy, I don't want to see this all the time. Like this feels like I'm living in Biff's world. I don't want to see this." And maybe I can lean on my public officials to clean up the city a little bit and demand a little bit more of our leaders.
You said grab the plastic shield and take it with me on the bus. If you had a security guard on every bus, and you kept people from breaking the law on the bus, wouldn't that be better use of our resources?
Much better. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you talk about the safety of the security guards. Then what do you do then? You give the guy a fire extinguisher.
Sure.
Somebody pulls out a pipe, blast him with it.
Well, but if he's driving, that's distracted driving.
Not the driver pulling out a pipe. I'm talking about a passenger who's ready to break the law.
What you need is to hire like a air marshal, but like a bus marshal.
That's what I'm saying.
A plainclothes guy.
Yeah.
If you really want him to blend in, just have him dress like a bum on the thing.
The bum next to you could be keeping us all safe. There you go.
He could.
Genius.
And that's actually like a plainclothes police officer.
You bet.
It's kind of a bummer of a detail. It's obviously for new hires. I wouldn't want to do it if I'm on the force for a long time.
Yeah, but you get to just sit on the bus all day and, talk to yourself.
I guess, yeah.
Maybe give yourself a pedicure, take
Yeah.
your shoe off, pick at your toes the whole time, kind of plays into the character, right? What a great way to get paid. Spend a day riding around the city, giving yourself a pedicure. It'd be great.
Might be. you're gonna cover a lot more distance than you would in Redmond if you're on the light rail in Redmond. Did you see the story?
Yes. Oh my gosh, what is it? What are we
delayed overhead wire mishap? I guess they didn't measure things correctly. This is a Seattle Times has this story. Apparently, Sound Transit's overhead power system caused a new Redmond light rail corridor to shut down on Monday. Let's see here. The spot was just east of Redmond. Blah blah blah.
Brand new.
3.4 mile extension that opened last month.
Got a whole month out of them. Yep, got a whole month.
I'm still not understanding what happened. They just did something break? Something just is not working, and that's where they get their power, is that overhead electricity? And
a
it's just
large
not working?
metal section labeled high voltage tumbled down onto the tracks.
It just fell?
Between trains, yes.
They should screw those on better.
Poorly installed.
I'm not a
poorly
train
checked.
engineer,
I imagine they were inspected prior to that line, the 2 more stops and the 4 stops now of Redmond.
Sure.
That little spur.
Yeah.
That was supposed to bring people from the Microsoft campus to live, eat, shop, play, die, get electrocuted downtown Redmond.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how are we not, as the world watches this light rail expansion and Seattle public transportation just keep putting their foot in their mouth, how does inspection not? How do we have something fall into the track less than a month into the ride?
It's like, hey, did all the
high danger,
all
high
the bolts
voltage
on that tightened? I
Seriously?
guess, maybe.
These
Yeah.
are the same people who didn't measure and poured too much concrete, and they had to take concrete out because of tracks, and then they had to go in and repaint the bus stops because the stops didn't meet the right levels for accessibility stops. I mean,
Oh, and don't forget when they ordered the wrong tile for the
that's
Redmond
right.
stations.
Yep.
They ordered non-outdoor safe, so people were just slipping and sliding all over the place. They had to fix
seriously,
that.
what? Thank God, thank goodness. I'll keep myself clean here. Thank goodness Dow Constantine's on the job.
Oh man, it's
these
gonna get
kind of
better.
things are not going to happen,
Not gonna happen anymore.
That's right. We got a guy making twice what he's worth. Going to stop this stuff from happening in the future.
Only twice?
Only twice what he's worth.
Listen, he was making $250 when he went into that job. Now he's making $450. I don't think he's worth a quarter of what they're paying him. But that's my opinion. That's just personal opinion.
I'm hoping he lives up to the salary.
It would be nice.
That's what I'm hoping.
Wouldn't it be nice if he said, hey, you know what, guys? Obviously, it's kind of controversial that I got this job. People
And this
that
fat
appointed me, I
salary.
appointed, yada,
Yeah.
yada, one hand washing the other.
Mhm.
What if, for this first year, because you paid me so much as King County executive, we all know how that went, what if I just don't take a salary for the first year? And when I can prove that I can do the job, I can get the job.
Right.
But if I can prove I can do the job, then you pay me and everyone's happy about it.
It's all retroactive?
No,
For him
not
doing
retroactive. We get
you
a
know,
free
just
year.
Free year, okay.
We get a free year.
He's
making $250,000 beforehand.
Not under your plan. He's doing it for free.
No, his previous job.
I hear you.
Which was taxpayer funded job.
Okay, I'm trying to find.
He hasn't saved a couple of bucks. Listen, if he hasn't saved a couple of bucks, he's making $250,000 a year. He's not managing money correctly for himself, and I don't want him managing it for our soundtrack.
That seems like a solid caveat to this. I respect what you're saying.
Or
what
like
if it's incentive based? You got this fat salary at $450 a year.
Yeah.
Right? And every time something that says high voltage falls on the tracks,
we take away
you lose
$50,000.
5% of your $50. That's nice. I would say 5% of your income.
Yeah.
For every delay, every bad set of tile you put in, every platform that isn't measured first.
I like it.
I mean, measure twice, cut once. I learned that in shop class in 7th grade.
Yeah.
How are we missing that with Seattle Public Transit, with King County Public Transit?
You've solved the problem.
Right? And if nothing goes wrong, Dow, you get your fat check.
People respond to
However,
incentives.
They do.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
fear of loss.
And fear of loss.
This guy boots the job, still gets the check.
There you go.
That can't work.
Well, this light rail I believe it's back up and running. Fortunately, only 3 people were disrupted on this.
Oh, no. Disrupted. Okay.
Only 3 people were going to be riding the train at the time.
Minimal impact, minimal rider.
It's actually just one guy.
One guy.
Just one guy was on the train at the time, or even wanted to ride a train for the entire outage.
A guy in Redmond was thinking about it.
There was a guy in Redmond who decided not to do it, so it actually disrupted nobody. They actually saved money when it was down because they were not running an empty train. No, all of that is just jokes. I have no clue how many people it disrupted. I don't imagine it was many, but thankfully it's back up and running nowhere. So that's great. Let's see here. Do you want to get to this other story? And I say running nowhere because this doesn't connect anything.
We've booted the story down the track twice now. No pun intended.
Okay.
We got to cover it. We keep promising it.
This is Ozempic penis.
Ozempic penis.
Okay. There is a thing happening.
Finally.
You've heard of Ozempic?
Oh, sure.
People take Ozempic.
Ozempic, one of the catchiest jingles of all time.
You're right.
Right?
Absolutely.
You betcha.
So it's a miracle drug that promises to make you lose weight. And I think it works because it like blocks your hunger.
It shuts your brain's hunger receptors off.
So you just stop wanting to eat.
Yeah.
And then people start.
Your brain tells you, no matter how hungry you are, your brain tells you you're not hungry.
Your brain says, go to the bathroom right now.
That's not your brain talking, but you do listen. Trust me, I tell you, when you do listen.
That's your stomach brain. Yeah.
And they say Ozempic can work on all kind of addictions. And a food addiction is what most people suffer from. It's not just that you're hungry all the time. You just think you're hungry all the time. You think that food is the answer to all your
words like food addiction. What does that mean? Somebody who likes food? I like food.
You like
I'm
food,
addicted to food.
No. You're a food user. You're not a food addict.
Do you believe there's really food addiction?
I do. And I believe it's based in psychology where we tell people that food is the answer to all your problems. You're depressed? Here, eat. Manja. You're happy? Celebrate. Eat. Food is the answer to every question we ask, is food. And we're just subjected to this advertising.
Okay.
Half the commercials are for food. The other half of commercials are for drugs that keep you skinny because you had too much food. It's a dog chasing its own tail.
It's a tricky one, though, because unlike alcohol, which is an addiction, obviously people become dependent on drinking alcohol.
Keep going.
You don't need alcohol to survive in life, but you do need food to survive in life.
You do, but...
So it's a tricky gray area. Where it's like you can get addicted... So you're
but you
addicted,
you don't know when to say when.
You're addicted to making poor choices.
Yeah, agreed.
You're eating bad foods that have bad nutrition. You're eating a ton of it, and you're not doing nothing in moderation. Probably.
And we were taught to clean your plate as kids.
Well, we still teach our kids that. We say clean your plate.
You're supposed to stop.
Piggies.
One of the main tenets of weight loss is to eat till you're full and stop.
Yeah. We always tell our kids. We say when you're full, keep going.
That's what. Are you serious? Because that's kind of the joke I was making. We were taught that as a culture.
No, we do.
There are starving kids in whatever country.
Yeah, there's starving kids in China,
right?
Like on Christmas Story. But no, we always are like yelling at our kids. Eat your food. We spend so much money on food. It's like really
you don't
good, healthy,
and you don't
quality,
give
good
your
food.
kids bucket-sized portions. Like Americans have these insane portion sizes.
I wish I could get my kids to eat bucket-sized portions. I can't get them to eat nothing but cereal.
Yeah.
It's crazy and it's super annoying. And all they want to drink is anything sweet that we have in the house. They just go right for it. Chocolate milk, please. Give me chocolate milk.
Nuggets, nuggets, and cereal, and nuggets, and cereal, and nuggets.
The stuff that kids are willing to eat.
Yeah.
They're willing to try 4 things. They have like 4 things that their little brains will do.
Yeah.
And then they won't try anything else. So we're constantly like, eat that food. Try new things. If you like it, eat a ton of it. And then you're going to bed and you're not going to eat any more tonight. No coming out for snacks. They always want crackers.
You want hungry. You're hungry later because you should have eaten.
It drives me nuts.
In my house, it was, well, you should have ate dinner. I'll never forget the old man saying that time and time
100%.
and time again. Should have eaten your dinner.
Should have eaten your dinner.
Takes a couple of those lessons to figure out that you're going to clean your plate.
Mine still haven't gotten it. They come out all night. Graham cracker. I want a graham cracker. I'm like, just at a certain point, I'm just shoving graham crackers out.
Sure,
you're literally shoving it under the crack of the door. I'm like, shut it. Take your graham cracker and be quiet.
Little slot in the door like it's Shawshank.
Yeah. Eat this, you animal. What were we talking about?
Well,
Ozempic penis.
We're doing everything but.
Here it is. When we come back, we got to take a quick commercial break. But this is there's a bizarre side effect. And we're going to tell you about it. And that's how most giant, successful, big pharma products are discovered. I don't know if you knew that.
I did know that. It's an unexpected benefit.
Unexpected benefit.
Right?
This is a big one. And this is
Viagra was not, what made Viagra famous and popular was not.
We'll tell you about it next.
Yeah.
I have the story of Viagra. I have the story of Ozempic.
There you go.
We'll find out what it is.
There's a relevant point.
Stick around.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
This hour is brought to you by Sharp Vision Modern LASIK and Lens.
Hey, it's Charlie Harder.
And I'm Amanda Factor.
And coming up on the show, we have Emmy Award-winning actor Jeremy Piven. You know him from Entourage.
An agent actually said to me one time, he goes, I'm having trouble getting you work on your hiatus because everyone's saying there's no way that's acting.
What's bringing him to Seattle later this summer?
We'll tell you. Coming up tomorrow morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Seattle's Morning News, 6 to 9. Watch the interview on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube page and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Do you notice sounds coming from your crawl space or attic, or possibly stale or foul odors in your home? This could be that rodents have gotten into your attic and crawl and have made it their home. They tear up the insulation to make nests to have babies. They contaminate it with their biological waste, which can be harmful to your health. And they ruin your home's energy blanket, costing you thousands of dollars a year. If you even think you may have a problem, call Insulation Northwest today, and we will come to your home as soon as tomorrow and perform a free, no-obligation inspection to determine what the problem is. This inspection normally costs $199, but it's yours free just for calling today. If we discover any problem with rodents in your home, we can get them out and keep them out and restore your home's protective insulation blanket back to brand new condition. Let Insulation Northwest give peace and comfort back to you and your family and save you thousands of dollars in energy savings. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Are you trying to buy a new home, or are you a local real estate agent seeking financing for a client? We're all tired of dealing with banks, credit unions, and endless guidelines. Wouldn't it be nice to go back in time when we had common sense lending? Hi, I'm Scott Rureka, CEO of Legacy Group Capital based in Bellevue. We are one of the largest local private portfolio lenders in Washington. We've helped thousands of home buyers and real estate investors reach their financial goals by leveraging the Legacy Common Sense borrowing platform. What that means is we lend our own money, we make our own decisions. If your deal makes sense, we'll get it done. Whether you're purchasing a new piece of real estate or refinancing an existing loan, bridge loans, construction, or regular home loan, it doesn't have to be as difficult as banks and lenders make it. If you're trying to grow wealth through real estate acquisition, come talk to the experts in private lending.
Call 425-635-4700 or LegacyG.com. Legacy Group Capital, your common sense lender. LegacyG.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
This could be the oddest gift anyone's ever given me.
But I'll bet you use it.
When the time is right, I suppose.
That's the idea.
A plunger.
An Apollo plumbing plunger.
Free for me?
Actually, free to everyone we visit.
Because?
We believe some things you can do on your own.
And if this plunger can't fix it?
Apollo Plumbing will.
Just like that.
You call, we come. It's fixed.
Wouldn't you rather I just call?
You're welcome to.
Okay.
But for a simple backup?
Something I can solve myself?
Try your free plunger.
I'll admit it's kind of spiffy.
Apply a little pressure.
And if it still won't clear?
Call Apollo Plumbing.
The ready right now plumbers. plumbers.
Our big blue trucks come stocked full of fixes.
And a plunger wielding plumber.
A clean screen trained and trustworthy Apollo plumber.
They come in a jiffy.
Arriving when promised to put plumbing problems in your past.
And give me a free plunger.
That too.
You know, I kind of like this plunger.
I'm sure it'll come in handy.
Just like Apollo Plumbing.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
Worried about your aging parents' bathroom? You can convert that old tub into a walk-in shower with Bath Fitter. Custom fit, installed in just one day with 0% interest for 24 months. Call Bath Fitter now or visit bathfitternw.com.
If you're thinking about renovating an attic, spending more time in your sunroom, or building onto your home, a Carrier ductless unit is the perfect solution for climate control. It's efficient, quiet, and incredibly flexible when it comes to installation because there's no ductwork required. It's just one more way we're making your home totally comfortable.
Your local Carrier heating and cooling dealer will improve your home's comfort, air quality, and efficiency. Visit CarrierNorthwest.com to find the expert near you. Carrier, turn to the experts.
KIRO News Radio. Breaking news.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Gornillo. There appears to be some kind of protest near the federal building in downtown Seattle at this hour. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch is there. He's live near 2nd and Madison. James, what are you seeing?
Well, Aaron, right now we've got probably about maybe 10, possibly 12, all clad in black, wearing the helmets and gas masks right now, carrying umbrellas. They've blocked the sally ports. That's where the people who work here bring in detainees and that type thing. They've got them blocked off with Lime scooters, and at least 2 of them blocked off with Lime scooters. But other than that, they're just standing around talking. Whether they're waiting on something or not, we don't know. But at least so far, since I've been here, we haven't seen any type of violence. But we will be here and see what happens. We'll let you know.
Yeah, no,
Reporting live in downtown Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Before you go, obviously this is, possibly linked to what's going on to the situation in Los Angeles. Are people out there talking about that? Have they said anything to you? Is this obviously some sort of ICE-related protest?
Well, I don't want to make any assumptions about them. They don't tend to talk to the media. If we bring out a camera, then they put their umbrellas up in front of our face. So I can't say, Aaron. All I know is they're here. They're not doing anything. There's no chanting. They're basically listening to music and eating donuts. That's about it.
All right, James. Well, we'll check in with you perhaps later and see what happens there. Thank you, James. Live near 2nd and Madison in downtown Seattle. Meantime, President Trump is doubling the number of National Guard troops being deployed to respond to those protests in Los Angeles. Now about 4,000 National Guard troops. This comes also as the Defense Department is activating 700 Marines. CBS's Erica Brown with more from the White House.
President Trump is defending his decision to deploy Marines and the National Guard to Los Angeles after days of protests against federal immigration raids.
Right now, Los Angeles would be burning just like it was burning a number of months ago with all the houses that were lost. Los Angeles right now would be on fire.
Earlier, during a House budget hearing, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said Marines and the National Guard will protect federal agents.
California Governor Gavin Newsom says he is suing the Trump administration. He calls this an overreach of the president's authority. Takes us to 2:33, and we have a traffic alert now from the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Desk. Nate Connors is here.
KIRO News Radio Traffic Alert.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It's coming out of Northgate, South 5 at 85th, a collision. About a half hour into this now. 2 right lanes and part of the on-ramp are blocked by this. So that just leaves 1 lane open at the scene. So you're bumper to bumper all the way into Shoreline, Linwood to Seattle, pushing 45 minutes. About a 20-minute delay here. But as I see this on the camera right now, it looks like they're going to get ready to push this out of your way at any moment. But that's a scene we're looking at right now. Options include State Route 99 to the west or State Route 522 to the east to avoid this I-5 backup. Seattle to Linwood, 20 minutes. You're slow from the U District to the scene, and then some more slowing up in Shoreline. Bellevue to South Center is at 40 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way is a 35-minute drive. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Sunny today. Temperatures in the upper 70s this afternoon. Right now looking at 77 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, right, welcome back to the show. We will get to your text messages in short order. We'll talk about it in just a minute. We were talking about this story before the break.
We've put it off as long as we can.
Put it off as long as we can. It's time.
It's
to
uncomfortable.
Get to it. I know it is uncomfortable. We got to deal with it, and people need to hear about it so they're aware of what's happening down there. Ozempic is a miracle drug. They say helps people get skinny, or at least lose a bunch of weight. People who wouldn't otherwise be able to lose a bunch of weight. You take this drug, apparently the pounds fall off. The other side effect that they're now reporting is that their male genitalia area has increased in size. Do you believe this is true? There's been a bunch of reports from different people who have taken the drug, and they said, hey, one of the benefits, it's a side effect, but not all side effects are horrible things, apparently. The side effect has caused that area to grow. Do you think this is true, Spike? And what do you think the effect will be? Does this overnight become the most popular
Why are you looking
drug?
at me with this?
No, I'm saying, do you believe that this is
No,
these
I
reports?
don't. No, I don't believe this.
What do you think's happening?
I think you know how the moon is bigger when it's close to the horizon.
Sure.
Moon's always the same size. Moon doesn't get bigger.
Yeah.
When it comes up and then gets smaller as it goes to the center of the sky.
Yeah.
I think Ozempic helps you lose weight, helps you lose inches, ironically enough.
On your waistline.
And when you look down, right?
That makes total sense.
You may be seeing something for the first time in years.
That makes
for a
total
lot of
sense.
guys.
Yeah.
So
it
just seems bigger because it's closer to the horizon. I don't know. I don't. Who knows? I'm not one to discount the proven medical benefits with regard to male genitalia that Ozempic seems to offer.
It would not be the first time that
maybe it's fat cells running in fear from the Ozempic that are hiding there.
Go hide somewhere,
right?
And then
it's the last place you look when you're a big guy.
It's the last place you look, right? But you're excited you found it,
right?
So listen to this. This is wild. The world actually gained one of the most popular, if not the most popular, drug. Legal drug, Viagra, because it was a side effect. I'm going to read you a little bit of this story from QZ.com, which is really interesting. Despite the drug, and again, this is about the accidental discovery of Viagra. Despite the drug's popularity today, the researchers who discovered it weren't even looking for it. Sildenafil, I can never pronounce these names. They have crazy names. The active ingredient in Viagra was originally developed to treat cardiovascular problems, and it was meant to dilate the heart's blood vessels by blocking a particular protein called PDE-5. In animal tests, it seemed to work moderately well. Researchers could find evidence it was impeding this PDE-5, and the animals weren't having any obvious side effects. So it was brought into a phase of a clinical trial in the early 1990s to test whether humans can tolerate a new compound. So because it was a heart blood vessel curative thing, they started testing it on older men who typically were suffering from this problem.
Cardiovascular disease, you bet. Yeah.
So, continuing from the article, QZ.com, all seemed to be going well, except for one weird thing that the men enrolled in the study did when nurses wanted to check on them.
They were doing it like rabbits. Ironically enough.
No, that's not it.
No, it's not it?
No.
I know what the effect was. I saw the ads.
They found that a lot, but listen to this. It was one very observant nurse who discovered, and I know you're going to make a joke.
I'm not. I'm biting right through my tongue.
Listen to this. What do you got there? No, listen to this. They found that a lot of the men were lying on their stomachs when they were being examined. They didn't know what was going on and why they were lying on their stomachs. John LaMattina, who was the head of research and development at Pfizer at the time while this research was ongoing, said a 2016 episode of he told this on a 2016 episode of a podcast. He says a very observant nurse reported this, saying that the men were embarrassed because they were getting aroused. It appeared that the blood vessels were dilating. The blood vessels dilating were not in the heart, but rather the male area. And it caused them to have this side effect.
Right.
That then all these guys who were taking this blood pressure test medication, they said to the doctors when the tests phase was over, they said, hey, can we get some more of that? We want to take it home with us.
Right.
We're very popular around the house right now. And so a brand new drug was born. So the FDA approves it for this. They say, hey, it all looks safe. And now it's like multi-billion dollar.
And now it's the main benefit. Who cares if your heart works as long as the other parts work?
Well, what's interesting is they re-released under a different name the same drug with a tiny little change to it just to focus on heart stuff. They're like, hey, we don't need this thing, let that be its own thing.
Okay. Does the other stuff still do that for your malehood?
The other one is just supposed to be focusing
just
on your heart.
Focus on your heart.
Yes. So they'll prescribe that to both men and women.
Ask your doctor. Forget about down there. It's right for you.
Yeah.
Live longer.
Isn't that amazing? So it will Ozempic, I mean, it was already very popular. It's making people skinny. But if you had to pick one side effect, it was going to maybe like boost it up over to make it the most popular.
Because it wasn't popular. It wasn't hard enough to find.
Yeah.
No pun intended. I mean, that's the thing. You can't get Ozempic wasn't designed as a weight loss drug, if I'm not mistaken. It was an anti-diabetic drug. It was to fight diabetes.
Right.
And they figured out it could curb the mental gimme for food. It blocked your hunger receptors.
Something.
Right, and that's why people want it now. And now if you tell people not only is it going to make you skinny, but it's going to make that bigger, good luck finding it. If I feel sorry for the folks who actually have diabetes. Good luck. Who really need it.
Good luck. All right, should we read some of these text messages before we run out of time?
Yeah.
Or are we already out of time? No, we can read a few of them. We can finish them next segment.
Ironically enough, we only have a short amount of time. We have a longer amount of time.
Well, get some Ozempic. Laura, do you want to start us off?
Yes.
Do you want to be anywhere near this conversation?
I really don't.
So please, no.
6 feet of social distancing, please.
At least.
On smoking, Pam in Port Townsend says, my dad was a doctor. He had a smoker as a patient who got a, what is it?
Tracheotomy.
Tracheotomy. Thank you. He took me to meet her because, quote, she was lonely and needed company. I sat for 15 minutes and thought I'd die. I'm 73 and I've never smoked.
Yeah,
it's a smart dad.
Yeah.
Well, that hole in the throat thing is it's very frightening.
It is.
Awful.
More guys than girls in Seattle. We've brought a study up show that Seattle had the most disparity between men and women in the country, the 100 most populated cities in America. 107 men for every 100 women.
Male populated city in America. Yeah.
Dave in Snohomish County says, I have a 25-year-old daughter that lives and works in Seattle, and she said there's a lot of children out there.
Laura, you mentioned this, the Peter Pan syndrome.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find that's predominantly the kind of guys that you're running into when you're out and about?
Like living in like an urban core? Yeah, like near tech.
Yeah, they're just not. They're just. Why would you be interested in settling? And what is Peter Pan syndrome? Just not interested in settling down.
Just
you have a lot of toys.
You'll
and
hit
money.
like 40 or 50 and be like, oh, maybe I want kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. On Father's Day, Doug in Lake Stevens says, remember, some of us were stay-at-home dads. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, Dave said, what about single dads who are raising kids?
Thank you, Dave. Congratulations.
You all deserve, yeah.
Laura, go for it.
Doug in Mount Vernon says, Jake's Father's Day gift, a piece of galvanized metal. What is this, Dad? It's a piece of the Kingdom men's room.
Oh, my gosh.
We should get you the little diorama.
I wish that Kingdom men's room action place that was really a real thing.
Is it not?
I thought it was just mocked up for the entertainment video.
A real thing.
I'll do a Google search because that's what I want. If you're listening, It's really unpleasant, Mrs. O'Neill. 253 says, my sister said this often as her ex, you gave me one cell, I did the rest. You did not make half a baby. You gave me one cell. Wow, I hope that relationship lasted.
I'm sure that worked out really well.
Seriously, she sounds wonderful.
We got a few more of these we will get to after the break, and we have so much more. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Charlie Harder.
And I'm Amanda Factor.
And coming up on the show, we have Emmy Award-winning actor Jeremy Piven. You know him from Entourage.
An agent actually said to me one time, he goes, I'm having trouble getting you work on your hiatus because everyone's saying there's no way that's acting.
What's bringing him to Seattle later this summer?
We'll tell you. Coming up tomorrow morning on Seattle's Morning News.
Seattle's Morning News, 6 to 9. Watch the interview on the KIRO Newsradio YouTube page and the KIRO Newsradio app.
Homeowners, protect your biggest investment now with Integrity Roofing and Construction. Get ahead of the summer rush. Integrity is your family-owned, award-winning roofing and construction company. They're ready to give your home the protection it deserves. Integrity offers a complete in-house construction division, a design division for all your projects. Integrity Roofing is known for top-notch service, and the on-site project management with every job makes the process easy. Beat the summer rush. Call Integrity today at 206-202-ROOF. Get a free estimate, and you can go to integrityrc.com to find out more. integrityrc.com.
We meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
If you've been in an auto accident, you have the right to take your vehicle to any repair facility. Accurate Auto Body has been family owned and operated since 1994, and they work for you, not your insurance company. Your insurance company may not love them, but you will, because
we meet by accident, fixing every last bit, Accurate Auto Body.
This week
leaking and rocks are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At Les Schwab, we've been changing the tire game for more than 70 years. Our Go the Extra Mile service means more hustle, less hassle. We design our own exclusive tires to give you more tires made for the road you drive, less compromise. All backed by America's best tire warranty included with every tire we sell. We're talking more unbeatable tire warranty, less charging you extra, like the other guys. It's why you get more from less. Book an appointment at leschwab.com.
At Care Partners Senior Living, we believe in providing quality care at an affordable price. Instead of spending on luxury and expensive art, we invest in our people and accommodations with a focus on compassionate overall health. Our communities offer independent, assisted living, and memory care designed to preserve dignity, independence, and your estate. Affordable, personal, trusted. That's our promise. Please give us a call. We have beautiful Care Partners communities throughout Washington and Arizona. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Someone says they're from Medicare? Hang up. Medicare never cold calls. Offered free medical equipment or services? Toss it. It's likely a scam. Got your Medicare statement? Read it. Spot something strange? Report it. You can fight it. The Washington State Office of the Insurance Commissioner Fraud Prevention Service is free, unbiased, and here for you. Search Washington Medicare Fraud or call 800-562-6900. That's 800-562-6900.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
Steel, walk behind, zero turn, and stand-on mowers are built to get the job done. Shop online or at your local Steel dealer. Steel, let's go mow.
Guys, it's Men's Health Month at Revive Seattle. Get a free comprehensive wellness panel. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Valued at $400. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111 or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
For more than 65 years, our service technicians at Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning have been proud to offer the home comfort solutions that your family needs. This summer, trust the team at Bob's to equip you with peace of mind, providing efficient service and expert knowledge to keep you safe and comfortable in your home. While temperatures may be on the rise, our service solutions remain steady and affordable. Plus, we'll provide you with a new filter replacement at each AC maintenance. Call Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Your family's comfort is our family's business.
Welcome back to the show. We were reading some of these text messages. We ran out of time, so we got a few more of these we'll get to, and then I'm excited. If you're not watching YouTube right now, you should be. You should always be watching us live. If you ever get a chance, watch us live or watch the show back. After we're off the air, you can watch it live every day. YouTube puts us out, and it's really great. And it's 3 hours, and we're your best friends, and we're here for you all the time, whenever you want us, on demand. go to Jake and Spike Show Live. When you look up YouTube, you can look up KIRO News Radio and you'll find us there. I'm going to play you a video in just about 2 minutes, Spike. It's going to make your day. It's fantastic.
Great.
I don't know how this happened.
Use it.
I found it on the internet. It's just one of those funny, stupid videos, and you're just going to love it. All right, a couple more of these text messages to get to while you guys meet us on YouTube. Alan on YouTube says, I gave my dad a model car kit, one of the earliest vehicles that he really liked, a 57 Chevrolet, so that he could build a model of a car he no longer owned but remembered fondly. That's very nice.
That is
nice.
What a
Father's Day
sweet thought.
gift.
Sorry. Corey also on the YouTube says, breakfast in bed was the best gift I've gotten in the last couple of years. I'd prefer an action versus a gift.
Nice. John on YouTube says, we get a lot of YouTube live stream comments today. We really appreciate that. Tickets to a game, like a Seahawk or a Sonic game that he gave his dad, John said, and they could go to something together.
Again, something to, like an
something
action.
you do together,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. Just like Corey said.
Quality time.
Go throw an axe at a wall with your dad.
Yeah, go
Do
throw
one of
an
those.
axe with your dad.
Yeah, something fun.
All work and no play.
It's still insane to me that axe throwing is in bars. That they're
Yes.
like, right?
And it's very popular. And it's a ton of fun, especially when you're drinking.
Great.
On light rail repairs, Doug in Mount Vernon says, use some of Dow Constantine's salary to buy more Gorilla Glue and Gorilla Tape for maintenance.
That's awesome.
That's a very good idea. Thank you, Doug.
And safety on public transit. Joseph in Tacoma says in the 1970s, cities in the Northeast utilized a group of volunteers called the Guardian Angels to ride transit and protect the public.
I've heard of this.
I
Have you
remember
heard these guys?
Sure, the Guardian Angels, you bet, man.
Guardian Angels.
Red Berets, you
Yeah,
bet.
absolutely.
Until they jumped the wrong person last year in Times Square. Same group.
Guardian Angels?
Yeah,
did?
yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Tackled them, ran them to the ground, ended up getting sued.
Those seem like devils.
They did.
Not angels.
253 says, if the bus driver needs a cubicle, I'm making a cubicle for everybody on the bus. And that was kind of our point. What about us riders?
Wouldn't it be cool if they had like individual cubicles that you could ride yourself in? Like you don't have to ride with other people. You can ride in your own tiny little individual cubicle on a road where you are sharing the road with other individual cubicles.
Wow. That's so futuristic.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Seems like a crazy idea. I guess I'll just take my car.
What if you... What if you put like a way to listen to the show inside that cubicle with people?
Inside that cubicle?
That'd be phenomenal.
Yeah.
You're on to something.
Great idea.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, on the manhunt for Travis Decker, Shannon Duvall says, I have a friend who lives in Peshastin. I'm scared, but my friends are smart. Unfortunately, I have a few dogs that will let them know when somebody is near. We're following up on that story, so you keep following us on the news breaks. They're giving updates on where and when they catch this guy, when it happens. It will happen eventually. All right, we have teased this. I have to play this for you guys real fast. I was just out. The algorithms like to send me stupid stuff, and I saw this video, and it brought me so much joy. Have you ever seen Spike at like fancy resorts? You might have seen this advertised or whatever, but like for people who maybe aren't necessarily scuba diving certified, but they do have those like underwater. They look old fashioned, but they're high tech, super like modern.
A diving bell helmet kind of thing.
It's like a bell helmet, but it's plastic and it's clear, and you can go down and you can walk on the bottom. But I don't think
with one little air pocket on your shoulders. Okay.
Yes, but you're connected by a hose.
Yeah.
To the surface.
Yeah, so you can breathe.
So you can breathe,
like
obviously.
A long snorkel.
And it's not actually scuba diving.
No, you don't have to have a tank on your back and learn how to use a regulator and all those things.
Absolutely.
And what's this, a fancy resort you said? What is that?
This looks to me like a fancy resort or something. They're walking along there it is. You see it right there on the YouTube.
Oh my gosh, look at this. How
watch
futuristic.
this. There's a whole line of people that are all sitting there. It looks like some sort of a stingray experience. I don't know. Maybe it's someplace. But watch this. There's a lady signaling, hand gestures. See all the people behind her?
Oh, my gosh.
Now watch the lady behind her. There's a stingray coming up underneath, and she's excited to touch it. But, her feet get away from her, and
there goes her air. Oh, my gosh. Oh, this poor woman. Oh.
Oh, my gosh. So she does the one thing you're not supposed to do when you have a helmet on.
Turn upside down?
Turns upside down.
What a tool.
She turns upside down, and the helmet goes flying, and now she's
there's all her air.
Struggling to live.
And the stingrays are laughing their little smiley faces
are
off.
laughing at her.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh, look. Oh, that poor woman. She must be heartbroken. And see the bar they're holding on to walk themselves? That's kind of neat. They're like holding on to a rail.
You know what's so great
it's very
about this?
Look at how many people are down there with these helmets on.
I know. There's nothing they can do. They're just in their helmets. Just imagine all these people laughing behind glass. Like that glass you have where they're just like, oh my gosh. What an idiot.
And meanwhile, they laugh and they use up all their oxygen. Boom, now they're in trouble. All because one stingray.
Oh, my gosh.
Stingray messes up the whole line.
What's great is how hard she's working not to flip over, but then she just keeps flipping over. I just watch
I feel bad.
This is what I do all night with my kids. Anytime
watch this kind of stuff?
We watch fails all the time. We're watching fails.
You could be learning Mandarin with that time. You could be something useful with that time.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's funnier to watch funny things.
It is funny. It would be funnier if that was in Mandarin, right?
It doesn't. That's a great thing. It translates to every language.
That's true. Laughter is the universal language.
It's a universal language.
Really,
anytime somebody makes a fool of themselves, it's universal.
It builds bridges and tears down walls.
Absolutely.
Laughter does.
100%.
That's right. Wow.
All right.
There's your thought for the day, people.
Stick around for John Curley. Thank you guys so much. Speaking
building
of laughter,
bridges, yeah.
You'll have fun. We have a great show coming up for you tomorrow. We hope you had fun today. Go back and download the podcast. Do us that favor and give us a thumbs up over on YouTube. And we'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.
You listen to Charlie and Manda on Seattle's Morning News every morning. What do they listen to every afternoon?
I listen to John all the time when I'm driving home, driving my kids around.
I also listen to the John Curley Show. Even by the end of the day, I still like to keep my brain active, and he's very good at doing that.
John, first of all, is hilarious. I never know where this dude is coming from.
The perfect bookends to your daily commute with KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM and the KIRO Newsradio app.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Ooh, ma. What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs. You sound very calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees. Ooma. Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
One of life's greatest mysteries has finally been solved.
Who let the dogs out? Spruce, spruce, spruce.
It's Spruce, the new hard